Chapter 151, The Figure Under the Golden Prairie, Dino. Next person. Dino speaks for the first time in the state of dragonization. The sound is very magnetic, and it is also full of supreme majesty. But such a voice made the people and dragons timid about it. Horrible. Too frightening. This dragon is beyond imagination. They tried their best and failed to inflict even the slightest damage on the dragon. But this dragon strikes. It only takes one blow to kill a dragon, and the people present are surprised and delighted. Surprisingly, the strength of the dragon can be so powerful. The bottomless black hole is like an abyss, making everyone feel timid, and they don't dare to look down. The happy thing is that this dragon is helping their humans. Damn. What kind of dragon are you? Why are you here? Why are you all dragons but you can't control you, and you have to help humans kill my dragon? Future Rogue is crazy, roaring at Dino with a dragon. The few dragons he worked so hard to get out were directly killed by this red dragon. This greatly reduced his combat power. How to rule the world. Rumbling dash. The egg-laying dragon collided with Dino. The dragon heads of the two dragons collided together, and the resulting airwave also blew the earth, and countless people were overturned by this airwave. When Dino's dragon claws slammed the dragon out, roaring angrily, Yan Shenlong, one of the 5 Shenlongs. The roar resounded through the sky. Countless people heard the angry 16 roar and the words, and instantly guessed that there were actually 4 dragons of this level. They also call it the 5 gods dragons. Unbelievable. Really can't believe this kind of thing. And a scene. Dino opened his mouth again, and the flames enough to burn everything brewed again, making the dragon under Rogue's feet in the future a little timid. Damn, it's not an opponent at all. How does this guy feel stronger than Akuro Nokia? In the future, Rogue cursed angrily. The power displayed by the black dragon Akuro is quite powerful, but why does he feel that this guy in front of him is even more terrifying? Flame dragons, roar. The flames that burned the sky rolled in. With the power of destruction, he attacked the dragon in front of him. Then Rogue will not be willing to take this blow in the future. Immediately control the dragon under your feet to dodge. But Dino's attack is definitely not so easy to dodge. Even though he dodged in time, his arm was still stained with flames. If it was not stopped, the flames would be enough to burn his entire body to pieces. Roar, The huge dragon's body swayed constantly in the air, trying to put out the flames. But this is not an easy task. The giant dragon continued to struggle, and the dragon's screams were incomparable. Dino sprints again immediately when he sees the situation. The tall dragon's body moved towards the dragon that would lay eggs. Slightly lower head. The towering single horn on it pierced through the air. Puff. Blood spilled. Dino's dragon horn directly pierced the dragon's chest, and it fell to the ground with its body. Future Rogue stands unsteady. He had no choice but to leave the giant dragon's back and watch his dragon be directly pressed to the ground from the air by the guy called Yan Shenlong. Covered in wounds, Dino's one-sided user claws are teeth that scar the dragon. The dragon is struggling, but in front of Dino, he was so vulnerable. No matter how much you resist, even if the dragon's breath hits Dino head-on, it will be burnt out by the billowing flames. No use. There is no way. All the dragon can do is use its claws to grab Dino too. Although the effect is minimal, a period of tearing can also leave damage on it. Dino holds the dragon tightly. The mouth opened wide and breathed out in an instant. This time the power is not as good as last time, but it is still enough to smash the dragon with one blow. Boom dash. There is blood all over the place. The bloody smell is extremely strong, making countless people feel sick in their hearts. Dino tore the dragon's corpse into pieces before releasing it. Fly in the sky again. Longpan starts to look for the next target. At this time, a special mark appears on the forelimbs of the dragon claw. Seems to be lost magic guilty, otherwise known as emotional link. It seems to be Mirajane who uses this magic. Suddenly, when Dino was about to kill the next dragon, he felt a burning sensation in his mouth. Roar. He shoots up flames. The next second, my body was a little itchy, and tears were about to flow. Dino stabilized the flying body. Used chanting to contact Alter. Now, Alter is stuffing Merajane's mouth with peppers in his hand, and at the same time tickling. Ha ha ha. Alu, I was wrong. Stop tickling. Mirajane couldn't help laughing. He kept rolling in front of Alter, begging for mercy. Alu, what are you doing? Don't disturb me to kill the dragon. Dino's voice echoed in Mirajane and Alter's mind. Alter stopped. He spoke with a smile on his face. Lord Dino, you are still holding on to your supernatural powers. The whole city was destroyed by your 2 moves, and almost half of it was destroyed. If you go on like this, the city will not be saved. Dino was stunned. His dragon eyes swept across the ground. The cracks in the earth are also spreading around, and everything around is so terrifying, and the smoke is everywhere. Ordinary residents also use this to commit crimes. The entire city was shattered like a catastrophe. There was already a shaky feeling. Dino came back to his senses. After dragon transformation, the destructive power is amazing, and at the same time, he is very interested in killing. This is unavoidable, but it is not good for ordinary people. Well, let's stop here. Dino still gave up and continued to kill dragons. These dragons are not very good to kill, so let's forget it. This side is also preparing to destroy the Eclipse Gate. Below, Lucy runs over with the future Lucy's diary. After finding the princess, he said, In other words, if the Eclipse Gate in this era is destroyed, then the future will be rewritten, and the Eclipse Gate in the future will disappear because of this. Lucy said again, if there is no Eclipse Gate in the future, then Rogue will not be able to travel back to this era. Bonsly also explained, that's it. As long as Rogue doesn't travel back from the future, then the world will return to its original historical trajectory. Kingdom Princess Jade is also puzzled. But does that really stop what's already happening? Carla and Happy also talk. If it goes well, both Dragon and Rogue will disappear from this era. It's worth doing. Princess Jade looked up at the Big Mac's Eclipse Gate. That's how we can break such a huge door? Lucy looked at the door with unwavering eyes. We can only use all our magic to break it. Saying that, the two men attacked the door of the solar eclipse in front of them. But it's useless at all. No way the door is intact, Lucy said bleakly. Princess Jade said, this door is made of super magic alloy with strong magic resistance. It cannot be easily destroyed. Lucy clenched his fists. Turning his head to look at Yan Shenlong, who threw Long Hu in the air, he shouted, hey, Senior 773 Long, can you help to destroy this door? Whether it's the princess or Happy, Carla and others, Lucy has a problem with his brain. How could Long possibly listen to her? Just as he was about to say something, he saw the giant dragon opened its bloody mouth in this direction. Hey, the dragon is really obedient. How did you do it, Lucy? You must also be able to use dragon magic. At the moment Lucy is also very confused. Naturally, he didn't understand what was going on, but that roar wouldn't give her a chance. The turbulent breath spurted out. Boom dash. The entire gate was shattered. A time. All dragons are glowing. Future Lucy's body is also surrounded by light. Light blooms. Everyone looked at the giant dragon, and some looked at the moon. The dragon is slowly disappearing. In the future, Lucy is also slowly disappearing. Thank you. In the future, Lucy looked at the Yan Shenlong in the sky and opened his mouth with a smile. Lucy, as the future has already grown up. It can also be analyzed that the Yan Shenlong in the air is Dino. The golden prairie stretches as far as the eye can see. The breeze blew the ends of Lucy's hair, bringing her back to life. Hey Lucy. Lucy reacted quickly and turned to look over. Come here soon. Everyone is here. Let's go on an adventure. Natsu stepped forward with a smile on his face, pulled Lucy's arm and charged towards the group of friends behind. Lucy burst into tears and nodded with a smile. After rushing out, he seemed to notice. She turned her head to look and found that in the original position, Dino's shadowy figure was quietly looking at her. Thank you, Dino. Chapter 152, Cheers from the whole city. Magnolia. It's back. They're back. Everyone, come and see them. Welcome back. The streets are full of people, and the citizens of the whole city are surrounded here. They cheer. They are grateful. They really applaud Fairy Tale. Dino yawned and followed behind Erza and the others. After all, the Great Demon Dianwu and Dragon King Festival had passed. After the incident, Altar also brought Mirajane back home to be of ours in peace. And Dino followed the people of the guild to accept the blessings sent by the whole city. Everyone, let's welcome with the warmest applause the winning guild, Fairy Tale's triumphant return. Blah blah blah. The sound of applause and cheers was also unparalleled. Countless citizens crowded on both sides of the street, and they vacated the space in the middle. A lot of people. It seems that it is not only the residents of Magnolia who come here, but also many people from the surrounding cities. It looks like they are all welcoming us. Click. Taste. There are many people around taking pictures. Even if Dino wanted to sleep, he didn't have a chance. This time the Great Demon fighting performance was very lively. Dino, who is known as the strongest mage, is also the face of the guild, and if he falls asleep on the street, he will be laughable. Cough cough. Someone coughs. A man in a black suit with a print came out from the crowd. Well, now, I have asked Mr. Magnoliashi to present them with souvenirs. It seemed that the assistant was talking next to him. In front of him, Makarov also scratched his head embarrassedly. Souvenir? You don't have to bother so much. However, Shi Chang did not solve it. He even raised his hand to guide everyone in Fairy Tale. Everyone in Fairy Tale, please come this way. The guild members are also very curious to follow. Soon, came to a vacant lot, which has a richly decorated building. Fairy Tale engraved on the door. Fairy Tale is my pride. So we repaired the guild and want to give it to you, she said. Long. When needed. The guild members all widened their eyes. Looking at the tall buildings in front of you, and the gorgeous houses shining with gold stars in the eyes, the guild has returned to its original state. Hey. Makarov was even more moved to tears. He exaggeratedly held Shi's long hands and thanked him continuously. Shik, you are so kind. Shi Chang smiled. The guild was repaired with the help of the citizens. Makarov was even more emotionally exaggerated and shouted to the sky. I love this city the most. The guild large bath. Dino, I heard that you have several beauties hidden in your house. Since the end of the Great Demon fighting and martial arts, tasks within the guild have appeared one after another. There are all kinds. But in the fully renovated guild, the big bathtub makes people lazy and don't want to move. Yeah, you guys have been sealed for 7 years, but I don't have one. It's normal to find a few girlfriends. There's no need to hide this from Dino. He couldn't be alone for 7 years. Although Kana and everyone else are a bit clingy these days, Dino is enjoying it. Tell my brother if you let them get along peacefully. Mikao looked curious. It is also a little bit of a small idea, otherwise it would be impossible to ask these things. Personal charm. Wow la la. Stand up from the big swimming pool, go up to the shore to wash your body and put on new clothes to go out. When I came to the hall, I saw sisters Mirajane and Listener working as waiters. Before and after walking, Dino jumped down and was bored, and began to empty his mind. Dino, do you want to go out on a mission together? At this time, Levi also stepped forward from elsewhere and came to Dino's side. Dino squinted her eyes. Levi, why don't you do a mission with Jed and Droy? Aren't you Shadow Gear Squad? Levi also looked embarrassed after hearing this question. Somehow, Jed and Droy say they want to go out and work for the two of them every now and then. After listening, Dino also leaked a look of sudden realization. But I didn't think about it in the past. That's okay, you can choose the task. But it's okay for 2 people. Originally Dino wanted to call a few more people to form a team. But seeing Levi also seems to be a little concerned about not calling people more. 2 people also do. Allah, by the way, Natsu and Gray also rarely said that they should team up with 2 to go out to work. Can one play with fire and one play with ice? Mirajane in front of the counter was also smiling and found it funny. Kana added, although their relationship has improved recently, it was surprising that the 2 of them went out to work. Happy probably also went together. How much can you stop it? Everyone else nods like that. However, Dino didn't care too much, and said casually, if you think about it too much, according to the character of the 2 of them, the enemy will quarrel for some reason before they can defeat them. Probably not. Listener didn't think it was possible. But Gray and Natsu were very prescient anyway. Maybe take down the enemy first and then they can learn from each other. Should be. The crowd continued to discuss the members of the current guild. But most when it comes to Dino, it's something too strong to imagine. Dino didn't need to explain it, because he thought it was normal. But their imagination was still too weak. His power is not that simple. Have you found the mission? Dino walked over to Levi's side and looked at the bulletin board in front of him. Since their fairy tale once again won the championship of the Great Demon Fight, so the tasks in these 2 days are also overwhelming. Which, Zhao, I am afraid that the people in the guild are working hard to do the task and there is not much time to complete it. President, I just received an urgent power of attorney. The members shouted. President Makarov curiously reached out and took it. After the great demon fighting and martial arts, there have been many more letters of entrustment to designate a certain magician to complete the work. Makarov said. Mirajane replied with a smile. Everyone is very welcoming. President Makarov immediately waved after seeing it. Dino, this power of attorney is for you, Natsu and Grey Demon. President Makarov shouted at Dino. And Dino was also suddenly curious when he heard this, turned around and walked over there. While walking, Natsu and Grey probably will take a while to come back. Let's talk about it when they come back. Well, have someone contact Grey and Natsu, and come back as soon as their quests are done. Makarov frowned and ordered to Mirajane. Chapter 153, The Four Kings of Ishgar, Warrod Sequen.Meeting. The president's face also made Mirajane feel a little bit important. Start contacting Grey and Natsu immediately. And Dino goes to Juvia. Sir Dino. Juvia has been paying close attention to Dino all the time, and her heart is pounding when she sees him coming. I need to go on an urgent mission. You go team up with Levi. Dino made a suggestion. Juvia is very kind and has a strong working ability. Just a little crazy. Dino didn't even want to have any thoughts about Juvia at first, but she still thought about it accidentally. This made Dino a little helpless. Since it's Dino-sama's request, Juvia will definitely work hard. After speaking, Juvia also walked towards Orochi with a tense face. Start discussing with her the location and time of the mission, and try to do as challenging a battle as possible. At this time, the guild door was opened, and Grey and Natsu walked in with bulging faces, with the overworked Happy behind them. After that are Erza, Lucy and Wendy and Carla. Mirajane didn't look very good when she saw Erza. Probably because of Natsu and Grey. Soon Erza also told the cause and effect. Before the table, Natsu and Grey sat on either side of the long table, hostile to each other. I will never go to work with him again. 777. Natsu's puffed up legs swear. Grey, who is opposite, is also not to be outdone. Idiot, I can't ask for more. The success of the surrounding guilds is laughing at them. Ha ha ha, you two are really speechless. I really can't do anything with the two of you. You are not children anymore. There. Makarov waved to Grey and Natsu after Erza's work report. Natsu, Grey, you just came back, and I have a power of attorney here and I'm ordering you and Dino to go there. Makarov said. Here again. Natsu and Grey turned their heads and shouted in unison. It's rare that someone has entrusted the two of you. This time I have to get along well. Hear me. Erza stared. Natsu and Grey also walked towards the counter. Dino is here. What's the matter with you, old man? I'm not going with this guy. Just me and Dino. Natsu said angrily. Grey did the same. I don't want to go either. You bastard, don't touch me. Makarov's face was solemn. I noticed that many people looked at me and ordered them directly. No. You have to go this time. And definitely don't make any mistakes for me. Because the client's name is Warrod Sequen.Meeting. He ranks fourth in the 10 holy magic ways, and is one of the 4 kings of Ishgar. Everyone in the guild was shocked. The client is one of the 10 holy demons? What's up? Why would such a powerful person send a power of attorney? Everyone is weird. 4 heavenly kings, holy 10 demons. These words all mean that this person is definitely not an ordinary person, and such a person will send this kind of power of attorney. And Dino is also a little concerned. Mountains, blue sky, everything around is very quiet, as if this land belongs to the paradise and has never had disputes with people. It's so peaceful here. Wendy held the commission in her hand, looked at the blue sky and white clouds, and took a deep breath to feel the fragrance of nature. Well, the air is so fresh. Lucy stretched out and showed someone's curves to the fullest. The wind is also very comfortable. Erza also brushed her hair and smiled, enjoying the breeze. It feels like we came out for a picnic. So happy. Yes, Happy and Carla were also walking on the ground and talking. It would have been better without the two of them. Dino didn't sleep either. Holding Annan in his arms, he also glanced at the 2 people who were arguing behind him with emotion. You ate my meat. Who wants to eat your food? You put on my clothes first. The color of your hair is too eye-catching. Change it for me quickly. Front. Erza stopped walking and turned his head. Don't make trouble. We are going to meet a person with a very high status now. Erza looked serious. Speaking of which, Erza, why did you come with me? Dino looked up at Erza and Lucy and Wendy lightly. We came here because we were worried about Natsu and Gray. Lucy made an excuse immediately, but Dino didn't ask any further. When you meet a big man, just say it straight. He can still refuse, and he has to make so many excuses. Everyone is as embarrassed as a mirror in their hearts. Taking a deep breath, he just pretended he didn't know. Speaking of which, the 10 great demonic paths of the Holy Spirit are the 10 best wizards in the continent selected by the council, right? Lucy quickly changed the subject. Erza nodded in response. That's right. Our president and juror of the Scales of the Snake Princess are both one of the Holy 10. Curse.A and Jackal, the Masters of Ghosts, once held this title. Among them, the top 4 are the great mages known as the 4 heavenly kings of Ishgar. Lucy took the wrong arm and was very nervous. Why do you need such a powerful task? The latter words were not said, but everyone was curious. Dino, on the other hand, doesn't care that much, mainly because he can handle anything. Otherwise it doesn't matter. If this commission did not have his name on it, it might not appear here at all. Now I just want to be a passerby quietly and do this task well. Inside a tree house in the deep forest, Erza pushed open the door and headed in, and quickly came inside. Is anyone home? We are fairy tale wizards, Lucy asked politely. Don't talk. Grass and trees like silence. After you understand this, just shut your stinky mouth for me. In front of you. The voice of the cloaked old man with his back turned to them came. Lucy, Natsu and the others couldn't help but breathe, feeling that the old people around them seemed to have a bad temper. Dino, on the other hand, swept the flowers and plants in the house and waited quietly. PFFT, I'm kidding you. I'm kidding. Flowers and trees love human voices the most. Wow, ha 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 ha. The old man laughed, as if his teammates were very interested in teasing them. Dino, on the other hand, felt a little bored. What is the old man doing? Is he really a big man? At this moment, this question could not be raised in everyone's heart. You are finally here. The wizard of fairy tale, who is Dino. Say hello to Warrod Sequen. I walked up to Erza and looked at her and said, yeah, Dino is a girl. She's cute. Dino, Erza, crowd, puff. Warrod couldn't help laughing again. Just kidding. Just kidding. Wow, ha ha ha. He leaned forward and kept laughing back and forth. Erza sighed. This grandfather really knows how to do it. Oh, yes. Brother Dino yawned and stepped forward to see the old man who was still laughing in front of him and also took the initiative to say hello. Are you supposed to be Mr. Warrod Sequen from the legendary 10 Great Demonic Ways? Warrod Sequen stopped laughing, nodding his head. Exactly. I'm Warrod Sequen. The next second he laughed again. Just kidding. Just as Lucy and the others were about to continue to ask, the old gentleman rejected it again. Weird. Dino suddenly wanted to do something for some reason. Talking to such a person is really exhausting. This old man is so tiring to talk. Chapter 154, The Frozen Village.Outside the treehouse. Warrod Sequen entertaining the crowd. I have been working on the greening of the desert since I retired. Retire? Has Mr. Warrod Sequen never joined a guild? Ha ha ha. That's a very good guild. After answering Warrod Sequen, he continued to speak. I use my green magic to stop the expansion of desertification. So I've been walking in deserts all year round, and not long ago, I found a wonderful village. Warrod Sequen recalls, according to the records, the village was called the Village of the Sun and that village had the Eternal Flame as their patron saint. Natsu is keen on living. Eternal Flame? Yes, however, that village is now frozen. I don't know if it's a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, whether it's people, animals, plants, or buildings and rivers. Even the eternal flames that guard the village are frozen. These words lifted the spirits of the people. The flames are frozen? No way. How could the flame be frozen? This is obviously a problem. Looks like this place is really weird. Several people speak. Warrod Sequen continued. Although it is not clear what happened to the village, the villagers who were frozen in ice are still alive. The villagers are still alive, but they are frozen. I can't ignore them. I hope you can save that village. This is my delegate. That's it. That's easy to do. Just melt the ice with my flame. Natsu was intrigued. Gray crossed his arms and asked, then you shouldn't need me. Warrod Sequen shook his head. No. That's not ordinary ice, and your strength is also indispensable. Dino looked up at the old man in front of him. However, he scratched his head. As for you, Dino, I just want to see you, and have no other ideas. Dino rolled his eyes. He knew that it was impossible for such a small matter to require him to go out in person. With all due respect, Mr. Warrod, a wizard as powerful as you, this matter should be resolved by you alone, Erza said with a serious expression. Instead of doubting Mr. Warrod, she felt something was wrong. Looks like you guys have misunderstood. Warrod responded, even the holy 10 great demons are not omnipotent. We are just 10 people who have been arbitrarily assessed by the council. There are countless mages who are stronger than me on this continent, and outside this continent, I am just a small existence. In fact, I know almost nothing about attack magic, and if I compete with young people in force, I have no confidence that I can win. Erza opened his mouth, but still didn't speak. Better than Saint 10? She looked at her seated in a trance, and Dino had to admit that there are many strong people in this world. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Those who complement each other's strengths and weaknesses are companions, and in other words, the guild. Warrod said to himself. It seems to be said to Erza and others, but it seems not. You are right. This entrusts us to take over. Leave it to us. Several people mustered up their confidence and interest, and clapped their chests to deal with it. And Dino wasn't interested. He still kind of blamed Warrod Sequen for bothering him to rest. The commission seemed so simple. What does it have to do with him? If it weren't for him, he wouldn't have to run all the way here. Isn't it fragrant to take a hot spring in the guild during this time? Feeling bad about going home with Altair and Kana multiplayer minigames? The village is about 2 kilometers south of here, but don't worry, let me help you on the way to the village. Warrod Sequen got up from his position. Using crutches, he signaled a few people to stand up. You all stand there and don't forget your luggage. Warrod Sequen stood firm, and the magic within his body began to surge. Suddenly, a tree trunk grows under Dino et al. It is small at first, but grows quickly. Protect everyone in leaves and branches. What is this? The tree is growing fast. Erza was surprised. Brush dash. In the next second, the trunk sprinted towards the distance, and everyone was amazed at the branches and leaves of the trunk. Impressive. It's like transportation. Be careful not to fall off. Ask for flowers. Oh. Several people were roaring and arguing that Dino couldn't sleep even if he wanted to. Sitting on a tree trunk, rubbing his chin, he was thinking about something. Dino, what are you thinking? Seeing that Dino didn't speak much along the way, Erza asked curiously. Dino shook his head. It's nothing. Just thinking about whether you should leave the guild to travel after going back, and you should consider living a better life in the future. Erza reached out and wiped the hair that was blowing in front of him. Eyes also have memories. Eternal fire. Dino murmured softly, wondering how long it would take to leave this time. Compare. The big tree sprinted very fast and stopped after a while. Ahead is the destination of their trip. The frozen whole village. Dino came down from the tree trunk. Sweeping the village ahead also fell into contemplation. The same goes for Natsu et al. The group walked into the village and looked at the ice sculpture-like village and marveled. The whole village was like a perfect picture scroll carved out. The whole village is frozen, encasing people, animals and everything. Carla swept across the scene. Lucy was also shocked. Whether it's the building or anything else, it's really frozen. According to what Mr. Warrod said, the people in the village should have been frozen too. But no one seems to have been seen. Erza looked around warily. Raise your eyes to look at the heights. Aren't the people everywhere? Dino yawned to remind Erza and the others. As soon as these words came out, Natsu and the others couldn't help but raise their heads. When needed, a group of tall giants poured into his eyes. 07. So big, really big. Everyone was shocked by the huge ice sculptures in front of them. He looked up in disbelief. Is this the village of giants? Natsu couldn't let go of the tall buildings for a while. This can be so big. I didn't expect that there would be such a huge person in this world. It's amazing. Dino glanced at the other huge human bodies and couldn't help answering. Aside from the rest of this place, it seems that there has never been such a huge giant, like a big monster. 0. Chapter 155, Erza who turned into a little girl. Even, the puppy has grown so big, it's become a big dog. Anan in her arms also flew out and was surprised to see the huge dog. Natsu smacked his lips. It must be hard to be frozen. Let me rescue you. Saying that, Natsu came to the big dog's feet. Look at me melting the ice with fire. The body was burning with raging fire, trying to melt the ice sculpture. Flame burns. Despite Natsu's best efforts, he still couldn't thaw out even a shred of what was written on ice. Natsu collapsed on the ground tired. What's up with this ice? Gray also reached out and stroked the ice and replied. The grandpa tree said, this is not ordinary ice. Erza and the others also checked their surroundings again. What's the matter? There's a magic in the ice that I haven't felt in 777. Gray said. At this time, oops, someone got ahead of you. There was a voice behind the crowd. Who? Erza and the others immediately turned around and watched the three men appearing on the mountain bunk vigilantly. It's not going well now. Why are all super women and children? Boom you. Dino swept over those people and spoke. Treasure Hunter Guild. The Labyrinth of Wind Spirits. A group of guilds established specifically to find treasures. Their goal should also be the so-called Eternal Flame. Dino said. It's so clever. The treasure buried here is ours. Don't make trouble, the man said. And Dino waved his hand. I'm not interested. Maybe it's only you who regard that thing as a treasure. Aren't you here for the Eternal Flame? Then why are you sorcerers super here? Below. Erza couldn't help but ask. Is the Eternal Flame a treasure? Isn't it a fire? At this time Dino popular science. As far as I know, the Eternal Flame is a dreamy flame that will not go out for hundreds of years. In the Treasure Hunt Guild, it should be a Super S level super treasure. Dino replied. Erza and others also looked at Dino. I haven't heard Dino talk about this before. Why did he suddenly say it now? Does he know what's going on here? A member of the Treasure Hunt Guild spoke at this time. Indeed, but the giants guarding the village are too much in the way, and we can't get close to the treasure. Another member next to him added, I don't know why. The giants were all frozen in one fell swoop. So now is a great time to get the Eternal Flame. Wendy also asked innocently. However, I heard that the flame is the patron saint of the village. It is very important to the villagers. If you take it privately, you will become a thief. And Dino's mouth twitched slightly. Wendy, you still expect them to buy this kind of treasure? Isn't it normal to grab something? Wendy's face turned red as well. I think what Dino said is very reasonable. Unfortunately though, the flames are said to be frozen too. Gray gloated. Dino raised his eyebrows, but didn't speak. Don't underestimate the super treasure hunting ability of the Treasure Hunter Guild. The Treasure Hunter Guild leaked a smile. One of them took out a small bottle of liquid. As long as there is this bottle of super treasure moon drops, we can melt the ice super easily. Natsu and others were shocked. What? The drop of the moon is not Leon the magic they used on Galuna Island. They actually condensed it into a liquid. Several people muttered to themselves, admiring the abilities of the three members of the Treasure Hunt Guild in front of them. It's all conceivable. By the way, with that bottle, we can restore the village to its original state. Natsu suddenly thought. The next second, either Gray or Lucy grinned. Hurry up, catch those treasure hunters, and that bottle is ours. Several people chased out without saying a word. And a scene. Only Natsu and Erza and An are left here. Dino, aren't you going to chase? Erza wondered. Dino raised his eyelids and responded listlessly. No need, those things are optional, plus Gray and the others are good. I have no interest. And there is obviously a problem with this village. Erza nodded. I've always been very concerned. These giants are all holding weapons in the same direction. What do you think they were doing? Walk up to a tall ice sculpture. He stretched out his hand on the cold ice and paused for a while. This time, he said indifferently, it's still useful. Before being frozen, you must have been fighting someone. Otherwise, why would you be running around with a weapon? Yes, it makes sense. Erza nodded and continued to deduce. The giants are fighting people, so they are protecting the village. Leave the ice sculpture. Dino walked towards where the giants turned their backs. Eternal Flame. What they want to protect is definitely this thing. Just look at it and see. Erza suddenly realized what he said. Turn around and look at the mountain that the giants are facing away from. Quick, if you find Eternal Flame, you should be able to rescue the village. Erza said and rushed over there. And indeed, he followed unhurriedly. Soon, two people came to this mountain one after the other. Erza looked around and found nothing, which was a pity. Even nothing. I thought that as long as I found the Eternal Flame, I would really be able to restore the village to its original state. Dino stopped a little far behind Erza. Even if you find the Eternal Flame, it is still frozen. Besides, how can this thing be found so easily? Dino said. Erza turned to look at Dino in the distance and felt that 0.0 was a little weird. He couldn't help but ask, Dino, why are you still so far away? Are you tired? However, Dino just shrugged, raised his head and gestured to the crystal next to him. Look at the reflection of the crystal next to you. Erza thought it was strange. Turn around and look over. Immediately his eyes widened. He said incredulously, what's going on here? Seeing the little girl shining out of the crystal, she was shocked. I've become a child. Dino touched his chin suddenly. Don't say it. Erza who turned into a little girl is really cute. Sure enough, whether she is strong or not is secondary, only cuteness is justice. Erza, who was looking at the little girl's state, also grinned with white eyes. He smiled and looked at her with great interest. Chapter 156, Smaller ErzaVS Smaller Minerva. What's going on, Dino? Do you know why? Erza saw that she was getting smaller and didn't know, so she immediately asked Dino who was slowly approaching. Because there are enemies. Dino walked over to Erza's side, squatted down and propped his chin up and looked at Erza who was getting smaller. He also thought that he was really super cute. Okay? Erza stared, and immediately used magic to summon a weapon. Aha! After being tired for a long time, he grasped a sharp sword with both hands, and he was also very shocked. Magic it can still be used. However, the speed of changing clothes has decreased, but the consumption of magic power has increased, the physical ability has been significantly reduced, and the feet are so cold. Erza said the same with a cute frown. The body shrank slightly, and the little feet followed back and forth, and a small face was full of unhappiness. I didn't expect it to be the two of you, but why? At this time, a woman came out from the side. Her face was gloomy, and she looked quite uneasy. Erza looked at it immediately and exclaimed in disbelief, Minerva. Why Dino, you haven't been made smaller by magic? Minerva looked at Dino, who was squatting in front of the tiny Erza, puzzled, and Dino didn't answer the question with a smile on his face. Why are you here? Erza, on the other hand, looked at Minerva vigilantly, telling her that this person most likely knew what was going on with her. I changed guilds. This is my first mission. Minerva didn't hide it at all, and walked up to look at the little Erza and found it very interesting. New guild? Erza looked at Minerva's belly, and the line instantly made her pupils shrink. Dark Guild. I have Dream Demon. Minerva opened her arms. Dark Guild? The little girl wants to rule the strongest guild, and it doesn't matter whether the white or the gangster is. What the little girl likes is to get rid of all the scenery from the world of the strong. Erza darkened, clenching the weapon in his hands. He also scolded, is the Eye of the Dream Demon the strongest guild? Have you abandoned the dignity of a sorceress, Minerva? Is it your fault that I became like this? Minerva smiled. This kind of guild is just a stepping stone. The little girl has to go higher, and your state is not made by me. It's because of my companion's magic. In the underworld, there are many interesting magics. At this time, Dino slowly stood up from the ground, looking at Minerva in front of him. He rubbed his chin and thought. This smile and eyes also made Minerva a little scared. She remembered the battle of the Great Demon fight clearly. In addition, Dino was not affected by magic, and she did not dare to relax. Dino, grab her. I have something to ask her. Little Erza knew it was only Dino who would be reliable. What are you doing? Don't think I'm afraid of you. Minerva spoke to cheer herself up. In front of you. Dino suddenly leaked a look of sudden realization. I finally figured out what this magic is. I never thought about it before, but it's not too late. Dino said. Now Erza is the first to get excited. Dino, you know this magic? Quickly help me recover. Erza said hurriedly. However, Dino shook his head. No, little Erza is too cute. I don't want to recover, but to be fair, I'll make Minerva smaller too so you two can fight. Dino looked regretful. Immediately reach out and aim at Minerva. Degenerate. As soon as the voice fell, Minerva's body was instantly shrunk. Not for a moment. Standing in front of Erza and Dino was no longer Minerva, who didn't look easy to mess with. It's a small, dumb-headed Minerva. Different from growing up, she also looks very cute and well-behaved when she is small. So cute. Erza was silent at first, but for a moment, the old face turned slightly red, and he couldn't help but blurt out. Damn it. Hurry up and get me back. Minerva looked at her small body and raised her temporarily white hand, pointing at Dino to give orders. Of course. Dino turned around and left without caring. You two get along well. Since you encounter an enemy, Lucy and the others should be in trouble, so I'll just come back. He disappeared after speaking. Leaving the scene, little Erza and little Minerva look at each other. Damn it. The little girl is the most powerful. Even if she gets smaller, how can others be able to compete with it? Minerva was silent for 3 seconds and controlled the small body to charge towards Erza. Impressively intend to use this state to compete. Alright, this is all very fair. Erza naturally doesn't need to be afraid, and this side also controls the weapon and rushes towards Minerva in front of him. Since then, the two teenage girls began to spar. Inside the frozen village. Open go. The gate of Cancer. On site. Lucy, Wendy, and Flair, who appeared, are fighting against the Treasure Hunt Guild. It doesn't look like you need help here. Dino's figure melted into the wind in the air, and the situation as it swept across the scene was also analyzed. None of them are weak. There's nothing wrong with beating the 3 trash in this Treasure Hunt Guild. The reason why Dino came so fast was because he was worried that Lucy, Wendy and the others would suffer. Since he can beat each other, he doesn't need to go out to help. Thought here. Dino's figure disappeared again and went to other places. Hey, I'm calling you. On the hillside, Gray stepped out shirtless and looked at the man on the road below. Are you an accomplice of the thief? The man stopped and looked sideways at where Gray was. That mouth that is different from ordinary people also looks very strange. What a hassle, popping up one by one. When Gray saw that mouth, he raised his eyebrows and became very nauseous, and broke out in cold sweat. What's the matter? Your mouth? Ha ha ha. This mouth is for eating you. The man laughed so wildly, with his bloody mouth open, as if he was going to swallow Gray alive. Next second, Gray's body shook for a while, and suddenly he realized that his body had changed a bit since 777. Huh? What's the situation? He looked at his arms and body nervously, and quickly grabbed the pants that were about to fall, feeling very strange. The weird man used both hands and feet. Grabbing the stone wall, he rushed towards Gray, and the speed was surprisingly fast. This is Kid. Gray was extremely frightened, and he was also in a trance when he saw the strange man rushing towards him fiercely. Things that happened when I was young come to my mind. The scream sounded, and Gray stepped back with his feet and grabbed the brain with both hands in horror. Occasionally, after meeting such a person's body and becoming a child, Childhood memories will also emerge. It's so pathetic. The strange man stood in front of Gray, looking at the panicked Gray and revealed a cruel smile. However, what does this have to do with me? As he spoke, he opened his mouth and was about to bite people into pieces. Evil devil, die lion pool, help me. Gray's eyes were filled with tears of fear, and he kept waving his hands back and forth in front of him, begging for help. And that weird man didn't give him a chance at all. Raising his right arm, he grabbed Gray's head and lifted him up. You can't run away. The weird man was about to crush Gray's head as he spoke. Gah! At this time, a golden beam of light penetrated from a distance. Chapter 157, Tartaros. It's finally you. The strange man was not slow to respond. When he noticed the beam, he immediately threw the smaller Gray, and his body immediately retreated. Who? He shouted in the direction the beam was coming from. Breeze blows. Gray, who was thrown out, stopped in the air before he could fall to the ground. Dino appeared in his outstretched hand, grabbed little Gray with one hand and looked him up and down. Really? No matter what kind of people are small, they are quite cute. Wake up, Gray, shouldn't you be frightened? Dino waved Gray in his hands and called to him too. Soon, Gray was also quiet and reacted when needed. Who are you? Do you know that your appearance will touch the taboo? The strange man in front of him also stared at Dino. He also used magic the moment he saw Dino, but it didn't work at all. This made him not dare to do anything casually. Cut. Dino leaned his nose and threw Gray aside and rushed towards that guy. He wouldn't care what taboos would be touched. On the contrary, if killing this guy would make the people of Tartaros move, then it would be better. Damn it. I'm from the Dreamer's Eye Guild, Deliatai. The guy named Deliatai roared angrily, and the elder raised his bloody mouth and fists high at his feet and smashed it. Boom. There was a huge roar at that moment. Dino immediately retreated and temporarily gave up the attack, and came to Gray's side to stand with him. This guy is the Dark Guild? After hearing Deliatai's self-reported identity, Gray also thought that the Dream Demon's Eye was the Dark Guild. I just didn't expect this place to be remembered by the Dark Guild. Gray, go and do other things, just leave it to me here. Dino waved at Gray to let him go. The latter wanted to refuse, but couldn't deny it, nodded and turned to run elsewhere, leaving the enemy to Dino. On sight. Come on, I've delayed me for so long, so let me kill you. Dino stepped forward. HMPH. I'll tear you apart. Deliatai roared as his body continued to grow in front of his eyes, and in the already hideous mouth, 4 fangs were pierced through the upper and lower sides of the teeth addition. The upper part of the body keeps getting bigger. The arms also turned into branches as thick as the waist, and the toes of the feet became sharper and sharper. The whole person is becoming less and less human. Roar! He roared, and those powerful arms smashed at Dino again. As fast as a warhammer, it fell from the sky, carrying a strong wind and falling on Dino's head. This power is smashed on other people's bodies, and if it is not smashed into mud, it will be smashed to make it impossible to see people. However, who is Dino? Not to mention the mere strength, no matter how powerful it is, it will not be able to cause damage to Dino. Stand under the arm that is about to fall. The right arm is raised slightly, the palm of the hand is held in the air. Rumbling dash. The fist that looked like a giant hammer fell. When required, the standing ground was smashed into a large pit, with cracks and gravel all over the surroundings. The tattered earth reminds all of the strength of this power. Dino's body was unscathed. The arms were still held straight and high, and the fists like giant hammers hit the palms but did not bring any effect. All the power was dissolved by Dino to the ground. He stood quietly like a pillar. The strength is good. Too bad it's not enough for me to take it seriously. Dino looked at the out-of-controlled Deliatai, and analyzed this seemingly mighty force with a blank expression. Between the palm and the hammer-like fist, a nice blue magic circle slowly appeared. The magic circle was not very big, but the magic lines on it didn't look easy to mess with. Roar! Deliatai looked at the pattern and immediately retreated. It seems that he has encountered a natural enemy, and he does not dare to contend with it. Ice-destroying demons, falling star. The sound sounded, and ice blue spheres emerged from the magic circle, the size of which was only about the size of a ping-pong ball. The spheres leapt into the sky, falling from the air after an arc, the friction of the air and the acceleration of the free fall. Those spheres are amazing. All of them hit the body of Deliatai, who had turned into a demon. Kick. That sphere has extraordinary power. After it fell on Deliatai, it was able to smash out huge wounds. Growl. Screaming in pain. Heart-piercing screams. An ancient and mysterious symphony is formed near this frozen village. Deliatai is dead. As a demon that has been transformed and failed, it is also normal to be afraid of the demon-killing method. In addition, Dino itself has no plans to keep his hands. Died in no time. Boom. The flames exploded in the distance. Dino turned around and saw that it was Natsu who was fighting the strange birds in the sky. Flame burns. It also seemed to be extremely violent. Dino walked over there. After the Dark Guild had finished processing, it would not take long for the frozen village to recover. I can finally go home. Eternal fire burns. A giant dragon figure made of flames appeared in the place that originally belonged to it. That guy is a dragon that came through the eclipse gate. Shouldn't he go back to 400 years ago? Seeing the flame dragon that suddenly appeared, everyone present was shocked. and the reason was naturally because they knew who he was. 400 years 100 years have been burning. Natsu also smiled when he saw the dragon in front of him. Long time no see, you are still alive, uncle. Alive? The flame dragon hesitated, denying, it's not like that. On the ground, Wendy intertwined her fingers and said, this is the figure that appeared after I used magic to concretize the soul, which means that he died a long time ago. Carla stood beside him, looking at the still dazed flame dragon and questioning, what's going on? When you summoned Kernes? His memory was very clear. Wendy wasn't so sure, it could be the ice thing. At this time, Dino also flew back from a distance, looking at the flame dragon and the crowd. He also explained, the original remaining will is the opposite of the strong will. It is a very weak magic, under the effect of the magic of ice, being in a frozen state for a long time, but part of the memory is damaged, and the ice is not complete, because the ice that freezes the entire village is not ordinary ice. Gray and others also turned their heads and looked over. That's right, it's not ordinary ice. With just one person's power, the whole world can be turned into ice. The fiery dragon's vague memory also spoke. Is it the ghost of the ice wizard? The village has become like this with only one person's magic. But why? Gray didn't know why. The same goes for Lucy and Flare. Everyone is very curious about why it has become like this, and what kind of talents can do this. I mistakenly believed that the flame dragon was a demon, so in order to destroy it, the entire village was directly frozen, and the manipulator of this ice was called the Ice Demon Destroyer, a magic that specializes in killing demons. Dino solution. When needed, Gray's eyes widened. Natsu and the others were equally shocked by this. It's not about killing dragons or killing gods, it's about killing demons. It's magic designed to kill demons. This kind of magic is really the first time I've heard of it. Few people thought that there was such magic in this world. And Gray also suddenly revealed an expression of sudden realization. So it is. I said that the feeling of these ices to me is different from what I know. It turned out to be the method of destroying demons by ice. And where is it sacred? Zao. Listening to Gray's words, Dino almost blurted out that it was your father, but still in time to hold back. It's pointless to say it now. It's even useless. Flare stepped forward and fell to his knees. You are the guardian deity who guards the village. I implore you to gift this village light again. Please save this village. The flame dragon was silent. It took a long time before he spoke. I just remembered ... the creator of the village of Atlas Flame. My village's misfortune is my pain. My village's sadness is my tears. With the last light of my soul, I will save this village with the flames of the sons of Igna. I am the flame dragon Atlas Flame, the guardian dragon of the village. Flame blooms. Temperatures are climbing. Everyone in front of them was dripping with sweat. He was covered in sweat from the scorching flames. Flame burns. Everyone in the village who was frozen was awakened. Dino swept the scene, reached out to catch Anan and lowered her head. There was a smile on the corner of his mouth. He whispered softly, Tartaros. It's finally your time. Chapter 158. The Power of Tartaros.Forest Treehouse. Wow, haha. It's right to leave it to you. Nice job. Warrod bared his teeth and applauded Dino's group. A piece of cake. We are also relieved to be able to successfully complete Lord Warrod's commission. But I really didn't expect this to be related to Tartaros. Natsu and others also disagreed. Thinking of the flame dragon's words, I can't help but feel a little embarrassed. Well, I'll leave this to the Senate to investigate. Warrod's head didn't care about that. Turning around and groping in the flower pot. Stop talking about this. I'll give you the reward first. Happy and Carla are happy too. I've been waiting for a long time. Well, we got the job done, as it should be. Soon. Warrod took a dirty potato from the pot and turned around. Reach out and give, too. The potatoes grown in the ground. Everyone. Hot springs and afternoon tea. A group of people sat on the table outside the tree house and rested candlefully. Dino has no interest in yawning. Fell into a deep sleep. Mr. Warrod 780 is so saved. Will he know about the devil called End? Natsu was curious. Warrod looked up at the sky and whispered, End? Demon. Erza also timely added, he seems to be the devil in the book of Zeref. Natsu also sipped his cup of hot tea and said, my dragon dad seems to have tried to beat him before. The unlucky name of the book of Zeref. I'm wondering if just figuring out what the so-called End really is will give me some clues about Ignil's whereabouts. Warrod was silent. A little time is also regrettable. Sorry, I don't know. However, hearing you mention Tartaros during the day reminded me of this. Natsu, Erza, Lucy, and Wendy all watched. Wait for Warrod to continue. It's a weird guild, no one knows their true identities, and the base camp and number of members are still unclear. But I have witnessed a few conversations with the people at their rallies. After saying this, Warrod also stared at the hot teacup in his hand with a serious face. They all said in unison that the assembly was about demon worship. Gray and the others couldn't help but pause for breath. Demons are not a good thing. Warrod spoke again. According to our speculation of the 4 heavenly kings of Ishgar, they may possess powerful demons from the Book of Zeref. The guild actually owns the demon from the Book of Zeref. Could it be that the devil is End? Sure enough, it has something to do with the man with the eye of the dream demon. Shock. After thinking of this possibility, Several people could no longer sit still. Natsu clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. If you don't know where he is, there's nothing you can do. Damn it. If you find him, you must beat him up and let him say it all. Phew. Dino snores slightly. He slowly opened his eyes and yawned when he saw the people who were still talking. It's getting late. Should we go back? Dino glanced at Natsu, who was still angry, and greeted several people. People have no opinion. After saying goodbye to Warrod, he also got up and turned to leave. Magnolia. Fairy tale. Myra, have a drink. Did you wink at Lisasna just now? Look. What a strange bug. The guild is still very lively, and this is the most lively place for everyone. Minerva joined the Dark Guild? Yes. Erza is reporting this issue in front of President Makarov. HMPH, what a poisonous girl. Erza spreads his hands a little regretfully. Her father seems to be the former president of the Swordbite Tiger, and his whereabouts are unknown now. Makarov stroked his beard and thought, Pka, this matter still needs to be reported to the council. Next, I'm going to speak to Sting too. Erza nodded. The other side. All the beauties were sitting around Dino. Levi is flipping through books. Look at this. Although End doesn't write in detail, it is said that he is a demon who can't even compare with Lalabhai and Dialionla. Levi pointed to a place on the book and explained it to Lucy, Wendy, Natsu and others. Lucy wondered, does that mean he's the strongest demon in the Book of Zeref? Wendy looked timid. It's scary. On the table, Possirelli stood and asked with a serious face, after all, what is the devil of the Book of Zeref? Carla replied, that's the demons created by Zeref, and it is said that the way to summon them is recorded in a book. That is, as long as there is that book, the demons of the Book of Zeref can be summoned. Natsu and Gagil sit together. Both of them had wicked smiles on their faces. Iguna wants to destroy that End. Well, I think Tartaros should be killed. Agree. Dino looked up at this. He shook his head at the crowd. Tartaros is very mysterious. You want to kill without knowing anything, and in the end it is you who are injured. Natsu was not convinced. Yes, there is power enough to destroy everything. Gagil also nodded in agreement. And Lucy and Wendy and Levi looked at Dino curiously. But you don't even know where Tartaros' address is, or even say you don't know Tartaros at all. Dino responded. His words also interested many people in the guild. Dino, do you know about Tartaros? Makarov asked. Monument. Just as Dino was about to speak, the guild door was opened. Jed from the former Shadow Gear rushed in with the newspaper. Not good. When needed, all the people in the guild couldn't help looking over. The Senate was slaughtered by members of Tartaros, and the whole army was wiped out. The news made everyone's eyes widen. Can't believe what I heard. How is it possible that the council has the most sophisticated equipment and powerful strength, and even the councillors are very powerful? How could it be destroyed by Tartaros' people and wiped out the entire army? No way. How is this possible? Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. The messy sound resounded through the eardrums. It was destroyed by a member of Tartaros, if I guess correctly. Dino looked at Jed and asked directly. The others thought it was impossible, and looked at Jed one by one and waited for his response. Jed swallowed, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Yes. 9 of the entire Senate were killed by a frontal assault. Jed said. All human brains are buzzing. Sweat was oozing from his forehead, and his eyes were full of wonder. Chapter 159, Let's Go to War. Silence. All members of the entire guild were shocked by the news. Dino, do you know about Tartaros? Tell me. Makarov took a deep breath. Looking at Dino's tone is also unprecedentedly heavy. The rest of the guild were equally curious about the most mysterious dark guild hidden in the dark. All turned their attention to Dino. First choice, I'm telling you, none of the Tartaros members are people. There is no need to hide. Dino has his own ideas. There is no point in hiding it. The Tartaros members are strong, but still not as good as Natsu and the others. There's no benefit in hiding information, and lying isn't even going to give Natsu their chance to defeat the enemy. The members of Tartaros are all his. What? How could it not be human? Yes, Tartaros is a dark guild. What are the members not human? This statement is not quite right. This guild is indeed very mysterious, but it is unbelievable to say that it is not a human being. They're not, what else they will be? Hearing Dino's words, the guild members subconsciously didn't believe it. Even President Makarov did not agree, saying that they were not out of line. But Gray, Erza, Natsu, Wendy and the others remained silent, bowing their heads and not refuting. Follow me to the Eternal Flames. Comrade should have a mind. Dino looked at Erza and the others. Others are involuntary transfer targets. Before the Flame Dragon died, he said that he was sealed as a demon, and there was something wrong with Minerva and her companion who attacked the Eternal Fire at the same time. Erza wasn't sure. If what Dino says is true, then maybe Tartaros might be. Ring. Dino raised his palm and snapped his fingers. Ding dong, congratulations, you got it right. The elite members of Tartaros are all demons in the Book of Zeref. Shocked. If you don't believe it, no one wants to believe it. After hearing Dino's explanation, they thought it was impossible, but they didn't refute it. You mean, Tartaros was made from the Book of Zeref? Makarov was surprised. Of course he couldn't believe it, but looking at Dino's serious expression, he thought maybe it was true. Then ... End? Natsu immediately asked. He was still more concerned about End. whether it was a demon or something else. End. The creator and president of Tartaros, but as far as I know, Tartaros does not have a demon end. Dino answered. Looking at Natsu, he explained again, or this end is not in Tartaros, but sleeps in a corner of the city, and the person in charge of Tartaros is someone else. Dino's words are hard to believe, but there is no evidence to refute it, and it even seems to be true. But why did they kill the critics? Erza wondered. The death of the senator is incomprehensible. What is the purpose of Tartaros to human beings? With sanctions, in simple terms, it might be revenge or looking for end. Dino replied with a smile. In fact, the real purpose is to unblock the magic pulse bomb. But Dino didn't want to say it. If this is said, wouldn't Tartaros be harder to find if he changes his plans? Dino remembered. According to the time, Lagoses should also be attacked. It's time to go out and start hunting Tartaros. Is there a way to beat them? Makarov felt that as long as he was defeated in advance, he should be fine. Dino shook his head. The demons of Tartaros can be reborn in their headquarters if they are killed. If they do not find their headquarters and destroy the equipment, there is no way to kill them completely. This made everyone present feel disheartened. The almost immortal setting, coupled with the strength of one person who can destroy the council, makes the people present do not want to fight against it. At this time, Fried rushed back with Lagoses and the others. Meeting. Before he could speak, he immediately fainted. Fried evergreen. Lagoses. What's the matter with you? What the hell happened? The people in the guild immediately shouted and rushed over there. Fairy tale backyard treatment room. Pelusica. What's wrong with Lagoses? Are you alright? Makarov sees the fairy tale apothecary opened the door, immediately rushed in and shouted at him. The other members of fairy tale are all worried. Pelusica responded, they are still alive, however, badly affected by the magic barrier particles. This is a highly toxic in itself and can be life-threatening when ingested in very small amounts. It is not known whether they can fully recover, especially Lagoses. The pollution in his body is quite serious. It is a miracle to be alive. Silence. For flowers. Oh. Everyone in the guild fell silent. It's a miracle to be alive. This remark is undoubtedly a blow to them. Especially Makarov's whole person is heavy. Lagoses is his grandson. No one wants a white-haired person to send a blonde person, and Pelusica's words undoubtedly made Makarov sad. Lagoses saved the whole city. If it weren't for him the city would have been. Fried endured the pain and opened his eyes to look at President Makarov. The latter stepped forward. Fried, I know, you have worked hard to bring everyone back. Makarov reassured Fried. He won't let them worry at this moment. Dino. Do you have a cure for them? Pelusica swept over the guild members who entered the treatment room, and leaned against the door to see Dino, who was lying on his head. 0. Everyone else looked at Dino. Yeah, Dino is so powerful and has a lot of magic. There might be a real possibility of a cure. The client Dino looked sideways, thinking in his heart whether the awakened Lagoses would affect his plan to hunt Tartaros. After thinking about it, I realized that it is impossible to kill all Tartaros by one person. If Lagoses, save it. Pushing the members away, he walked in front of Pelusica. His eyes stopped on the three of Lagoses. Reached out and took out several bottles of medicine and a bottle of blood from an unknown place. An antidote and the blood of the demon who attacked Lagoses. Hiss. Many people gasped. Looking at the thing that Dino took out, he also felt a little weird, mainly because he didn't expect that even the pharmacy consultant Miss Pelusica didn't have something. He would have it. At the same time, I also feel that Dino seems to be omnipotent. $7. Pelusica didn't ask any further questions. Dino's strength was obvious to all, and he knew early on that this kid was not easy. It is quite normal for him to be able to take out the antidote. Dino, you. Makarov wanted to say thank you, but he kept his mouth shut after meeting Dino's eyes. He knew that now was not the time to be hypocritical. Dino grinned. Sweeping. The other members of the guild are also very interested. Father, now that Lagoses and the others are not in danger, should it be time to order to kill Tartaros demon? I can't wait. Dino smiled. Over there, Natsu also leaked a harmless smile. Father, let's fight. Chapter 160. Fairy Tale vs Tartaros.Within the guild. Let's go to war. I'm going to kill Tartaros without a trace. Natsu clamored to go out and attack Tartaros. A lot of people were holding down the irascible Natsu in time. I have no objection. But we have too little intelligence about Tartaros, and even they don't know what their real purpose is, which also causes some trouble for us. Makarov said. Erza also sighed and added, although Dino has said a lot, none of this information can let us know where Tartaros headquarters is. But Natsu doesn't care that much. He's very talented in fighting, but Natsu is very slow in other areas. IQ is not high enough. Dino laughed. The only thing I know now is that they are targeting members of the council, both past and present. So as long as you go to the house of the former commentator, they will come to the door on their own. 780. Looking at the members who didn't know the specific situation also made Dino feel a little subtle. There is a feeling that everyone is drunk and I am awake alone. Soon, Loki emerges from celestial spirit circles to tell where several former senators he knows live. Immediately, Makarov also began to divide the labor. Based on Loki's intelligence, we know the positions of 4 former senators. First, We split up to their location to protect them from Tartaros. Although they may be very tight-lipped, we should try to inquire about the information, include the addresses of other former senators, Tartaros, and the reason they were attacked. Makarov has a clear division of labor. Divide the main forces in the guild into groups. Dino, you follow. Looking at Dino, Makarov also intends to divide him into a group. Of course. Dino immediately raised his hand to stop it. Master, you don't need to group me, I have other things to do, just group Natsu and the others. Dino told Makarov. The reason he wasn't grouped was also because he needed to go somewhere else. Target somewhere. Just kidding. Dino's target is the entire Tartaros. First kill those demons running outside, and then rush to Tartaros' lair to kill. Going to a group is a waste of time. Makarov didn't ask much. Dino's strength was very strong, far more than others. Therefore, he will not give more orders. If he has something to do, he will not arrange it. The enemy is Tartaros. Makarov swept over all the members of the guild. It belongs to the same Bullum alliance as Orochi says and Demon Heart. But we've broken both guilds. Makarov clenched his fists and scolded. Tartaros will definitely regret being our enemy just like them. Standing on the high platform of the guild, Makarov keeps Xuan's command and oath. Our companions were attacked. We feel the same, and the companions have the same blood as us. We must turn this pain and suffering into fighting spirit and declare war on the enemy. Everyone in the guild was full of blood and fighting spirit. We do not stand for justice. We act according to our will. Everyone stood up in awe. His eyes flickered with unparalleled brilliance. We will bet on bondage and glory and crusade against the enemies of our loved ones. Go. Target. Tartaros. Groups leave Fairy Tale. Leave Magnolia. Leaving their home, they moved closer to where the former senator was. Fairy Tale Gate. Dino supported Anan against the top of the gate, watching the grouping completed. Dino, where are we going? Anan stood on Dino's arm, watching the distant Happy and Kala also questioning. Dino thought about it. Let's follow Natsu first, and when we meet someone from Tartaros, we can have a quick fight. Dino is only one person, and there is no way to split up. Coupled with the fact that the other deputies lived far away, it was impossible to find every enemy. So he plans to kill the Tartaros member who found Natsu first, then look for other demons nearby. After that is the lair of Tartaros, which can be wiped out at that time. Well, Anna nodded. Phew. The wind blows. Dino left the guild and went away. Within a city, Natsu, Wendy and Lucy come here. Here are the former commentators, Michelo, and here are 3 people plus 2 cat protection personnel. So, please let us be your escort for the time being. Lucy spoke out about the purpose of the trip and the dangers that Mikiro might encounter, and seriously hoped to get his approval. I appreciate your kindness, but honestly it confuses me. Besides, how did you know my address? Michelo disagreed. Fairy Tale is a troublesome guild no matter how you look at it. This time it was also obvious that he was using him as bait, which was something he couldn't accept. Kala was a little unhappy. This old man is too ignorant of good people. Whether we come or not, you are Tartaros' target. You might as well let us protect. Kala said. Michelo was dissatisfied. What are you kidding? Which fool knows that he is being targeted and still waits obediently? I want to leave here. Don't look for me. Grandpa, it's too rude for someone to come here especially. At this time, Michelo's granddaughter came in from the back kitchen with a cup of hot tea in her hand. Wendy's face is flushed, because she has a relationship with Loki. Michaelia continued, cooperate with them. All the current senators have died. Grandpa, as a former senator, can you just sit back and ignore it? Michaelo was silent. Opposite Lucy asked again, do you know what made them target the senators? What the purpose is? No one knows. As for what Dino said about looking for and or punishing humans, the reasons for this simply don't hold. Michaelo recalled. The reasons are too many, and I can't figure it out at all. And it's not just the Dark Guild who hate us. Ginger time. Natsu froze suddenly. I felt an unprecedented sense of crisis. Immediately shouting down Wendy and Lucy, everyone jumps off. Immediately, he rushed towards Mikairoa and Michaelia again. The old man and granddaughter 0.0 also jumped down, rumbling dash. Michelo was just about to speak. A huge explosion sounded, and the entire house exploded violently in an instant. The roaring roar was also very loud. Crushed stone and rotten wood were flying everywhere. The original good-looking house was instantly destroyed and nothing was left. How is this going? Wendy and Lucy sat up for some reason. Natsu wiped the corners of his mouth with a bulging belly, looking at the dilapidated roof, and said with lingering fears, finally, I added in time. Before anyone could ask, a small stone fell from the sky. Whoops. I thought you were all blown away. A guy with ears and serrated teeth appeared on the tattered wall. The front half of his arms were black, and the spots were not simple. Chapter 161, Crush 1 Tartaros. Natsu turned to look at the man on the roof and spoke directly. You, Garavu. Jackal was about to open his mouth to ask who was in front of him. The back was hit hard. When needed, Jackal's body was knocked out and embedded in the broken walls. Where he was standing, the figures of Dino and Anan appeared. Dino. Why did brother Dino suddenly come here? Then Tartaros's people should not be killed. The 3 of Natsu also reacted immediately, looking at Dino and couldn't help but speak. So Natsu and that guy haven't started fighting yet. Dino was also in a trance looking at the intact Natsu. He thought he was too slow and that Jackal had already ravaged Natsu. I didn't think it was too early. Jackal, which was built into the wall, moved his body and stood up again, looking up at the person who suddenly appeared. He also asked, "Who are you?" Dino looked at him. "Fairy tale, Dino, are you the rich wolf of one of the 9 gates of Tartaros?" he asked. Jackal narrowed his eyes. "The Tartaros have been hiding behind the scenes, but the people in front of them can clearly say their identities. It seems that 16 is not easy. Humphrey, you can only count yourself unlucky when you meet me." Jackal snorted and waved immediately. "I see." Dino hit Jackal's right fist with a circular mark. Immediately burst into light, just in time for a big explosion. Boom 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 dash. Dino brother, Lucy and Wendy below immediately exclaimed. "Ha ha ha, my spell is to turn what I touch into the power of a bomb. If you touch me once, then you will have a big explosion, and you should be dead." Jackal laughed and sneered at his smoke-filled eyes. "Phew." The wind blows. Dino's intact figure appeared in the smoke, and a pair of blood-red dragon eyes looked very penetrating. "It turns out that your spell is so simple." Dino felt Jackal's spell and whispered softly. He has never used the power of conjuration, and the reason is also because it doesn't feel bright enough. There are no magic circles, no moves, and no special effects. Now it seems that the power is still pretty good. Dino, I knew you were all right. Seeing Dino's peaceful appearance, Natsu also put on a happy smile. Lucy and Wendy are also relieved. "How could you be all right?" Jackal frowned. The bomb must have exploded, but why no damage appeared? What the hell happened in the smoke just now? On Dino's head, Anan jumped boredly and looked at Jackal's reply. The power is too small to leave marks on Dino's body. "Jump off the roof." Dino took a step towards Jackal. I order you to stand still." "Okay." Lucy, Wendy and Natsu are weird. Why would Dino say such a thing? This Jackal is Tartaro's man. How could he possibly obey his orders? But the next second they were all stunned. I saw that Jackal stared at him and seemed to be trying hard. "Damn it, how could you order spells? This is clearly Sealer's ability." Jackal roared. His body was tightly fastened in place, unable to move. He couldn't believe it. "I don't understand what is going on with this person. Why he uses the magic power that belongs to the devil." "This is surprised?" Dino looked at him playfully. "Then let you feel your own abilities." Explode. Boom. The big bang sounded. A similarly explosive mark appeared on Jackal's lower back. With Dino's opening, his body also exploded instantly. The fire engulfed Jackal's body, and he passively endured the power of his own explosion. Miclo swallowed. He stared at Dino with sweat dripping from his forehead, always feeling that the guy in front of him seemed more difficult to deal with. Damn it. Jackal has scars on his body. Everyone is a bomb spell. But why is the power of this guy acting on his body beyond imagination? Although other people's torture is very interested in your purpose, but unfortunately it is of no use to me, then your end is only a dead end. Dino's figure disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already in front of Jackal and punched it in the stomach. Called him out when needed. Before hitting the wall, Dino's figure had already reached where Jackal was about to hit. Right hand raised. The entire arm was shrouded in white light. A sharp edge that cuts everything is covered. Demon sword. Brush dash. The blade is cut, and only a faint after-image can be seen when the arm is waving. The screams were loud. Jackal's body was cut with wounds from the sharp knife. Damn it. Jackal in the air was furious. The spell in his body was running fast, and his body grew stronger. When the body hits the ground, the Jackal figure has disappeared. In its place was a beast with golden hair. This is his demonic stance. "Go to hell." Jackal cried out in pain, waving his hands at Dino in the air. Boom 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 dash. The previous marks on Jackal's body exploded in an instant. Dino in the air was instantly shrouded in flames. The roar of the explosion poured into the eardrums, and everyone looked at the air worriedly. Dino is okay. Lucy was very worried. It was just an explosion before, but now the power of the explosion is much stronger than before. If this does happen something, it's really not clear. It should be yes. I'm more worried if there is something wrong with Anan's sister. Carla wasn't worried about Dino. Just a little worried about whether Anan on Dino's head 780 would be okay. After all, Anan is not as powerful as Dino. Being enveloped in so many explosions might really be dangerous. That's all. At this moment, the law of smoke and nothing is vividly expressed. Dino reached out and waved. The smoke around the body was blown away by the strong wind, and the unharmed body was also suspended in the air. Anan on his head has nothing at all. How is this possible? Jackal couldn't believe why his bombs were useless in front of this guy's eyes. So many big bangs don't even make a dirty pair. Since your moves are so simple, there is no need to waste time on you. Dino said that his body turned into an afterimage and teleported to Jackal. The tyrannical yellow radar of the right fist was brewing. The arcs of electricity jumped back and forth on his fist. The violent destruction aura bloomed on his fist, and the crisis of life also made Jackal feel clearly. No. If that's the case, then die with me. Jackal frantically reached out and squeezed Dino. The body glows, intending to destroy everything around and around. What are you thinking? Dino stared at him with a sarcastic look, a breeze blowing. The power of the incantation within Jackal was instantly drained. He was stunned. The emptiness in his body made him dazed. Chapter 162, Magic Pulse Bomb, Fez. Thunder, dragons, collapse fist. Thorn hanging one by one, 11 thorns dash. The violent thunder bombarded Jackal's body in front of him, and the power instantly penetrated his body. The tyrannical thunder do not give any chance. Surround his body. Boom. Jackal's entire body was destroyed, and it exploded in an instant, raining blood on Michelo's roof. Dino lands. The toes tapped the ground, a gust of wind blew, and everything around began to recover. The dilapidated building seemed to have magical powers, and it began to travel back in time. The messy house is slowly recovering. The destroyed houses were restored to their appearance before the explosion. It's amazing. The houses that were bombed have already begun to recover, which is really surprising. Lucy is different. It's shocking to see those dilapidated houses and other construction starting to resume as well. It all seemed like a dream. Okay. Awesome. Michelo was also stuttering and surprised. How could his house be restored like this? Everything is clean as if it never happened. Is this the strength of the members of the Fairy Tale Guild? It seems to be much stronger than expected. Natsu also leaked a smile of admiration. It's not bad that Dino has the same magic as the one called Uzumaki. Wendy also cares a little bit. However, the name of the person came to mind very quickly. Alter. Dino chuckled softly and didn't answer the question, swept past Michelo and his granddaughter Michelia and walked to his seat. Then, please ask Lucy to contact the guild, and please ask Mr. Michelo to tell Tartaros goal, Dino said. Lucy quickly reacted, and immediately went to get the crystal ball on his body and started to contact the guild. Is that Lucy? How's the situation over there? In the crystal ball, the appearance of the President Makarov and several guild members also appeared soon. It's alright, Mr. Michelo, a member of the Tartaros has just come to attack. Fortunately, Brother Dino arrived in time and killed his opponent. Lucy quickly reported to the guild, and at the same time adjusted the figures of Natsu, Wendy and Dino into the crystal ball. Really? Makarov breathed a sigh of relief and asked again. Did you get any information from Michelo? Lucy remained silent. Natsu also looked at Michelo and waited for his response. Tell me, you should know some information. My time is very precious. Dino said. That Mikhailo also trembled slightly, and immediately said, the White Heritage should be. It is the White Heritage. Fez. White Heritage? Fez? Natsu and the others were very curious, and the guild also heard Michelo's voice. Suspicion continued in my heart for a while, but he still didn't open his mouth to ask, waiting for Michelo to continue. The Fez is a weapon that the Senate has. All of them jumped up their eyes and noticed something was wrong. Natsu also asked curiously, weapons? How can the Senate have such a thing? Lucy roughly guessed. Probably to protect the order of the magic world, although I doubt this point. But for now let's talk about the business. Dino looked at Michelo and motioned him to continue. Several weapons are managed differently depending on their level of danger and importance, Michelo said. Dino took the call. For example, the previous magic wizard power, the super magic gun that can attack any corner of this continent. Its power is enough to destroy a country in an instant. However, as far as I know, to launch the magic power, it needs the consent of 9 current judges and the contact code of 10 senior staff. After saying this, Makarov and the others on the other end also thought for a while. That is to say, now that the councillors are all killed, the council will not be able to use the magic spirit power? Possirelli also thought of this possibility. But Makarov looked at Mikhailo in the crystal ball with a solemn expression. Question, what kind of weapon is Fez? I know you have a duty of confidentiality, but now you can't take care of that much. Michelle's head was full of cold sweat. Gritting his teeth, he is also making a choice in his heart. Magic pulse bomb is a weapon that can wipe out all the magic power of the entire continent. Shock. Everyone on the opposite side of the crystal ball was shocked by this. They could not imagine the power of such bombs. Each is different. What? Destroy the magic of the entire continent? All mages will be replaced by mana deficiency by then. Not only that, according to the people of Tartaros before, they did not use magic, but the power of conjuration. Everyone was stunned. The news is undoubtedly shocking. Once such a terrible thing is launched, the entire continent will be destroyed. Natsu immediately grabbed Michelo's shirt and asked, where is that thing? We must dare to destroy it before them. Michel shook his head. I don't know, I just heard that the sealing method is the life-body linkage magic of the 3 former councillors, but only the former speaker knows who the 3 are. Dino explained in a timely manner, life linkage magic, the lives of the 3 people are the key to lifting the seal. So they didn't even ask questions. They directly killed the judges. Or they don't even need to ask about these things. Inside the crystal ball, countless people were terrified. This so-called Fez is undoubtedly a sharp sword hanging above his head. Now Tartaros clearly has the key, and once opened, it will drop the sword capable of slashing everyone. Then it will be a disaster for the entire continent. If all 3 former senators involved in the Sealer Guild will fall into Tartaros' hands, the 3 people must be found and protected as soon as possible. The former speaker knows which 3 people are, right? So hurry up to find the address of the former speaker, and send someone, Zakianes, to go there quickly. Inside the crystal ball, The entire guild is constantly looking for clues. Countless people were busy flipping through books, looking for clues about the former commentators. Here, Dino yawned and glanced at the people in front of him. He quickly stood up from the ground, took a deep breath and turned his gaze to a certain direction in the distance. Natsu, Wendy, Lucy. The three of them also looked over when they heard Dino's call. You geese take good care of Mr. Michaelo. I'm going to do other things. Remember to go back to the guild early when the time comes, Dino said. All three have no doubts, nodding and watching Dino and Ina leave. Be careful to protect Inan-chan, Kala also whispered before Dino left. Dino nodded slightly. Whoosh, a breeze blows. Dino's figure slowly disappeared before his eyes. Chapter 163. Announcement of Tartaros' Death.Wilderness Mountains. Inside a luxurious-looking castle, Erza and Mirajane are also being entertained by former speaker Crawford Sim. After I retired, I started growing herbs, which are chamomile at home. Crawford poured tea for Erza and Mirajane from a china teapot. It smells so good. So good. Then welcome. The two women took a sip of the fragrant tea. The expression on the face is also very enjoyable. Well, it's rare for you to come from afar. It may be a bit unpleasant for me to ask, but how did you know my address? Crawford felt the warmth of the round teacup in both hands. Mirajane immediately said with a serious face, although it is rude to do this, the situation is urgent, and we have used the public account guild's own intelligence network. Crawford sighed. I didn't expect that I could find the address of my home, which was supposed to be classified information. It's time to get to the point after simple lab homework. Mr. Crawford, let's get down to business first, Erza said. Crawford revealed a look of realization, slightly apologetic. Forget it, it's Faith's business. Soon. Crawford also fell into deep recollection. Sad speech. I am also very saddened to hear the sad news of my former colleagues. Now that the Senate is not functioning, I am very pleased that a guild with a strong sense of justice like you can stand up. Crawford replied. Mirajane and Erza, on the other hand, looked desperate. We believe that to stop Tartaros, we must first destroy Fez. So can you please tell us where it is? Crawford sighed. Unfortunately, I don't know that either. Both Erza and Mirajane couldn't help feeling puzzled. As a former speaker, you don't even know where Fez is? It's not because this is classified information that I don't tell you. 780. Although I am the former speaker, I don't have the authority to know this. Crawford also pretended to be very regretful. Erza felt very strange. How did they get the information that even the former speaker didn't know? Mirajane looked at Crawford and spoke again. Then can you tell us which three former counselors are protecting Fez with life-body linkage magic? We will do our best to protect them. Both Erza and Mirajane await a response from the former speaker. But Crawford still shook his head with a pity. I don't have permission to know this. This time Erza and Mirajane are both silent. How come? Both of them had this question in their minds. The Fez is an abandoned weapon, a forbidden weapon that cannot be disclosed to anyone. Therefore, it is protected by an ultimate concealment method, and even the senator who becomes the sealed if does not know that he is the key. Erza and Mirajane's pupils shrink. It feels incredible. I don't even know myself. Then, Tartaros is really going to kill all the former senators. The voice just fell. Erza and Mirajane's faces suddenly became solemn. Immediately start the case. What? What happened? Former speaker Crawford's tone was a little nervous. Looks like they're coming. The house is surrounded. Listening to footsteps, there are at least 20 people. Speaker, please go to the inner room and leave it to us here. Talking. Erza and Mirajane complete their transformations in no time. In an instant, the person number 20 rushed in from the outside and attacked both of them. The battle is imminent. There, person who rushed in was high-spirited and his attack was quite sharp. Knock down the outside from the inside when necessary. We won't let you do anything to the Chancellor. Erza clenched his sword. Mirajane is also serious. After accepting the devil, she changed her previous submissive aura. It's my first time fighting with you. Erza chuckled. Mirajane's flirtatious lips put on a smile. Let's show them the strength of fairy tale together. Boom 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 dash. Mirajane and Erza are on fire. For those 20 or so enemies, it was also quite quick to clean up. It's all done. It's Erza. But it always feels a little strange to deal with such an important person as the former speaker. These people's strength is too weak. The two of them back-to-back also felt strange in their hearts. Suddenly, Mirajane felt a little dizzy in her head, and her body swayed and fell to the ground. Mila, what's wrong with you? Erza was startled. But soon, she herself felt a sway. He fell to the ground powerless. In the next second, Dino's figure slowly emerged. The two women who looked to the end reached out and waved. Healing magic. Green light falls. Mirajane and Erza on the ground felt uncomfortable asking Lume. But he woke up quickly. This. How? Dino stood in front of the two, looking at them with a funny look. Dino, why are you here? We just got a star down. The two girls are also very strange. Dino shrugged. Yes, Fairy Tail's dignified S-rank magician has been drugged, and he told Tartaros to see Fairy Tail's power just now. The result is really surprising. The two women bowed their heads in embarrassment. To be honest, they didn't expect this to happen. But the truth is in sight. If it wasn't for Dino, the ghosts knew what danger they would be in. If you say so. The former speaker, Erza, didn't continue talking, and after things got to this point, he knew that there was definitely something wrong with the former speaker. Dino looked at the castle, smiling mouth, taste, sound. The strong wind was blowing, and the tornado turned black and swept the entire castle. Former speaker Crawford was also blown by the wind. Dino beckons. The storm brought the former speaker to the front like a pet, and fell heavily to the ground. Yo, former speaker, why are you so embarrassed? Dino smiled playfully. Erza and Mirajane both looked at Dino curiously. The tornado just now seemed to have no magic power fluctuations. Maybe not using magic. And who are you? Crawford looked at Dino in front of him and was a little worried. Why didn't this guy follow the two girls in for tea? Don't expect to escape when the three of them are in front of you. I'm just an ordinary guy with a little interest in you Tartaros. You can't run away now. Dino grinned. Erza and Mirajane didn't speak. They also understood that the former speaker in front of them was from Tartaros, and they also planned to ask Dino to ask, do you have a way to contact Tartaros in the room? Dino squinted at Crawford. The latter body one didn't do it. But Dino has gotten the message. Knife light flashed. Dino held a long knife in his hand, and the blade slowly closed in its sheath. Crawford's body stood still. Suddenly, I saw a slender wound leaking from his neck. Puff. Blood spurted out. Heads fall. Mirajane and Erza's pupils shrank and they backed away. Looking at the head that fell with his eyes open, his brows remained silent, and he always felt that Dino's behavior was indeed a bit excessive. Then go meet the Tartaros people next, Dino murmured, reaching for Crawford's head and walking towards the destroyed castle. Mirajane and Erza followed. On the way, Mirajane reached out and lifted an upstairs from Dino's head, not intending to let Anan continue to watch Dino's bloody and violent behavior. Inside the castle, a huge water ball slowly rippled under the drive of magic. Soon an inhuman female face appeared inside. This man is Kyoka, one of the 9 demon gates in Tartaros. Who are you? Kyoko asked. Dino grinned. Hello, this beautiful demon from 9 demon gates. I'm Dino from the Fairy Tale Guild, an ordinary person who likes to kill demons. The place I contacted you was at the home of former speaker Crawford. Dino added. Kuang's face darkened when he heard Dino's words. Provocative? This smiling human dared to provoke their Tartaros. Where's Crawford? Betrayal? Kyoko tried to keep herself sane. Dino immediately grabbed Crawford's head and lifted it up. Here, when needed. Kyoko's whole face was full of anger. A mere ex-speaker is naturally unsubstantiated, but being killed and provocative with his head is quite annoyed. I'm contacting you this time just to send you a message to prepare your 9 demon gates, and I'll cut off your heads in a short time. By the way, beware of your 9 demon gates who are still out there. I have already killed one, and the next one is not far away. Brown Monument. After speaking, Dino immediately destroyed the entire crystal ball. After throwing Crawford's head aside, he walked outside happily. Dino, it's not okay for you to be like this. Mirajane and Erza also saw this with their own eyes, and they were somewhat uncomfortable. They are not so arrogant. Fairy tale, and everything Dino said was contrary to their fairy tale behavior. Hey, nothing bad, just a few demons. Kill them if you kill them, and they are all demons in the book of Zeref. Even if we don't know them, Zeref has a grudge against us. I almost killed Natsu on Sirius Island last time, so it will be the sooner or later. Dino doesn't care that much. He has always been freewheeling. Now that there are not many enemies left, he is naturally becoming more and more presumptuous. Okay, wait here, or go back. I'm going to kill demons elsewhere, and will ask you. Bye. After speaking, Dino's figure flashed past and disappeared directly in front of his eyes. Chapter 164, Curse.A Village. In the mountains. Listener and Elfman gathered here. The elder Yulai, who was not breathing, sat up and stretched out his fingers to break the crystal ball in Listener's arms. What are you doing? Use the magic crystal for communication. Elfman was startled. After Elder Yulai shattered the crystal, he fell to the ground again and stopped moving. What's up? Listener Elfman and both look weird. Ordering the dead really? It's not that easy. At this time, a lazy female voice came in from the living room outside the house. On the chair beside the table, a woman with a circle pattern on her forehead, rhino horns on both sides of her head, tattoos on her arms, and a woman wearing sexy clothes with her legs crossed was flipping through a book. Elfman and Listener were startled. Immediately turned his head and asked, who are you? What did you do to Elder Yuri? The woman outside is Liangtan Ayusiela, one of the 9 demon gates in Tartaros. I gave him a ride to the underworld. Ciela lowered her eyes, looking at melancholy laziness. You are Tartaros. Elfman wakes up immediately. Taking a step forward, he stood in front of Listener and stared at the woman vigilantly. The stories humans write are really boring. Ciela put down the book she was looking at, stood up and twisted. Let me write a story of a demon. When needed, Elfman's right arm moved on its own. He directly squeezed Listener's neck and rubbed his palms hard. Elfman brother. Cough. Listener eats pain. He grabbed Elfman's palm with both hands and tried to force it away. No, the body is out of control. Elfman wanted to give up, but the arm didn't listen to him at all. Listener opened her mouth but couldn't say anything. and she started to roll her eyes with the huge force pinching her. "What have you done? Stop it. Stop it now." Elfman stared at bloodshot eyes, and listener couldn't take it anymore with her arms still straining. In the Devil's Dictionary, there is no word for mercy. Ciela raised her eyes and spoke coldly. "Yes." At this time, the figure of Dino also pushed in from the outside and looked at Ciela with a playful gaze. $8. Dino, Elfman and listener were instantly overjoyed. The next second Elfman immediately reminded, "Be careful Dino, this woman will manipulate other people's bodies." That Ciela reached out and waved. "It's too late. Now that you're here, join the game of entertainment." "Order." You, Elfman and listener were shocked. This time it's really over. According to Dino's strength, I am afraid that no one has played this before. 2 men, then I order you 2 to fight. Ciela gave the order. Elfman released listener's palm and turned to Dino. Ordering this kind of spell also depends on how it is used. Dino whispered. Swipe over Elfman and say the same. Elfman, I command you to be free. Next second, Elfman immediately regained control of his body. Without further ado, he turned and punched Ciela. The latter was shocked. How could immediately pull back the distance? Elfman naturally knew that it was impossible to hit the Tartaros enemy with one punch, and after punching, he pulled listener back behind Dino. "How could you break my spell?" Ciela was startled. "You must know that incantation is a power that only belongs to their demons, and it is more advanced than magic, and it has been directly cracked now. How is this possible?" She couldn't believe it, but everything in front of her was enough to show that this newcomer was definitely not easy. Curse.A, it's just a ridiculous power, let alone you. Even if Zeref is in front of me, I can kill it for you to see. The devil in a mere book. Are you kidding me? Dino narrowed his eyes. Jiangshi stepped on the ground, and the ground under his feet began to crack. The floor and walls of the entire room were cracked by this force. Gah! Dino is fast. Before Ciela could react, he came to her. Sweeping over that unusual figure, he also clenched his fist and aimed it at his stomach and punched it out. Boom! Ciela's body felt a piercing pain for an instant. Stomach rumbling to vomit. The body was hit hard by the huge force, and it was unable to react in time, and the body flew out when needed. Ask for flowers. Oh, rumbling dash. The house itself was crumbling. But after Ciela's body was beaten out, it became the last straw that broke the camel's back. Dust when you want. The entire house collapsed, and a splash of dust and smoke buried Elder Yuri's body. Elfman and listener also quit immediately. Stand on a high point and watch quietly. Dino's body was in the air in an instant, and the breeze was blowing around the body. Ciela, who was knocked out and fell to the ground, also stretched out his hand to call for a book. After opening the book, he also silently checked it. Human books are still very interesting, but now I'm waiting for you to write a book that belongs to the devil. Dino flipped through the book, looking at the stories and content written on it. .0. There was an air of indifference that seemed to permeate. Those words were light, but they sounded with a strong disdain and contempt. Ciela stood up, rubbing her stomach, looking at Dino's figure in the air. He felt unbearable hatred, and gnashed his teeth on the ground and rushed into the air to hunt him down. Aren't you planning to transform? Dino put his palms together, put the book away, raised his palms and placed them diagonally in front of him. White sword glow shrouded. When the arm is about to turn into an after image, it crosses in front of him, and the white sword light slashed towards Ciela one after another, leaving small wounds on her body. The clothes that were not many were also cut into small pieces. It can only block the obscured spring light. Ciela became angry. How could she bear this humiliation, and once again borrowed strength to come to Dino in the air. The clenched fist was aimed at Dino and it came at once. Peng! The fist hits Dino's body. He fell from the sky instantly. Bang! One, smash the ground to pieces. Brother-in-law, Dino, are you alright? Elfman and listener wanted to step up to help, but Dino waved. Standing in the big hole that exploded didn't care. Looking at Ciela who fell from the air, he was also looking forward to it. Sure enough, your strength is much stronger than that Jackal. What happened to it? Ciela's eyes narrowed. Staring at Dino, she hurriedly asked. She didn't care how Jackal was, but as 9 demon gates, she still needs to be concerned. Wife, Chapter 165, Oki, everything becomes one, nothing. Jackal? Dino smiled, looked back a little, then put on a smile. 2 weeks it was torn apart by me. When he said this, Dino also grinned and let out his big white teeth. But this look made Ciela shudder a little. Is it so easy to kill, tore apart a person alive, and turned out to have a smiling face? Is this guy really a member of the regular mage guild? You will regret being an enemy of our Tartaros. Ciela's face was gloomy, and he was constantly thinking about countermeasures in his heart. If the command spell doesn't work, then the proud capital will be useless, and the rest can only be passive defense. Don't talk so much, let's fight. You'll be the second Tartaros member of my hand. Dino tail dashed to the ground. One of the benefits of fighting the Tartaros people is pure physical combat. Hand-to-hand combat is the most exciting. Rushing forward, Dino didn't use any moves, just his physical strength to fight Sealer. The fist 783 hit with prestige. Sealer is not easy to mess with either. As the demon of Tartaros, he is most proud of his physical strength. Of course it will not close without fighting. Get into a fighting stance and collide with Dino. Fist, legs and legs. Every move is banging against each other, and no one will let anyone. The power is constantly venting. They were all intertwined and fought together, fists banging against each other, stirring up layers of airwaves. The scene where the two fought was also full of gravel. The house, the earth, and everything around dark rumbling timidly. There was only a sound explosion in the air. It was the collision of the strength of two people, and the pure physical strength was not weak at all. Damn it. Sealer also lost ground in the matchup. As a demon, she was somewhat invincible. Dino in front of him seems to have infinite physical strength, constantly increasing his physical strength, and every move will be resolved. Will get hit a few times instead. Crunch. Concentrating on a single point, the fist shadow swept across Sealer's face. That Sealer lost. When the body wants to be blasted out, it sits on the ground and smashes the earth to leave a deep pit. That's all. Dino was also a little disappointed with the movement of his wrist. The strength of this Tartaros seems to be a bit exaggerated, and he thought it would be no problem to fight against him for a few hours. But this is the result. Not even as good as others called the Holy 10. Disappointing. You really don't know the horror of 9 demon gates. In the pit, there were some scars on Sealer's face, but they recovered quickly. Supporting his body, he stood up and looked at Dino in front of him, and spoke without any scruples. Dino's order to win Tartaros is not valid for Dino, so it will be Dino who will win in the end. Elfman took listener to a safe place. The eyes are also locked in the battle situation. So far, Dino's strength is enough to completely suppress. The rest is just a matter of time. In the portal, Sealer clenched her fists with both hands, dressed in a windless automatic order. Touch my own limitations. She drank when necessary. The wind blows. That Sealer's strength has improved qualitatively. The surrounding gravel was also shaken by this powerful momentum. The stone is suspended around the body by the influence of the momentum. The storm blew toward the surrounding like a natural disaster, and the surrounding houses collapsed. That earth is a deep pit that has been expanded and deeper. Listener and Elfman both stared at the person in front of them. I see. The clothes on Sealer's body were melted, but the next second, the upper body seemed to be covered by a layer of close-fitting clothes. The most unexpected thing is that there are lines on Sealer's upper body. It looks hideous all over the body. His long black hair seemed to dance like a demon. The horns of the two heads are ever-changing, more sturdy and sharp. Lower limbs. The original legs still disappeared. It was replaced by a pair of blades that looked like sharp swords, slightly levitating off the ground. At this moment, she can call her a devil. In an instant, Sealer's figure rushed out. His hands clawed on his waist. Incredibly, a circle of strange words appeared around the hands, and something was wriggling in the palm of his hand. With a sharp sound, the palms of those hands opened like eyes, and bloodshot eyeballs appeared. It looks more troublesome to the scalp. Boom. That Sealer's speed was surprisingly fast, and an afterimage flashed in front of Dino. One hit Dino's stomach. Dino's body was completely intact, and his huge strength also caused him to be knocked out when he wanted to. The walls that broke through the layers were inlaid on the ground. Sister-in-law. Dino. Listener and Elfman called out immediately. How is this possible? They both thought so. Why did the opponent who was still suppressed suddenly burst out with this kind of power? Even playing Dino was powerless to resist. What? Yet the battle is not over yet. Sealer's right hand burst into strange words again, and hit Dino's direction. Boom 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 dash. A powerful force bloomed in front of him, shattering the earth and forming a terrifying pothole on the ground. The air screamed. How can it be so strong? Elfman swallowed and looked at Sealer with horror. At this moment, she is completely two extremes from the previous one. Her strength and strength are beyond imagination. Who beat this guy? Yesterday, the place where Dino was covered by a lot of rubble shook. Dino came out of the rubble. I patted the dust on my body and looked at Sealer with satisfaction. Sure enough, out of the ordinary. Dino lightly opens, and the demonized Sealer's strength is far beyond imagination. It is almost possible to hang two Jackal. I will tear you apart. Sealer rushed over again, about to smash Dino completely. Pity. After Dino experimented with her power, he was not interested in him anymore, and his figure flickered into the air. Open your arms and close your eyes. I feel it. I feel the cry of the earth. The earth is crying. It's coming. Dino murmured. That Sealer rushed forward again without saying a word. In an instant, Dino's head shines brightly. In the silver-white magic circle, the lines circulated, as if summoning something. Receive magic earth Orochi. The town was shaking violently, as if panic and anticipation. Sealer couldn't help but stop. Elfman and listener over there couldn't help hugging each other. It's also a little scary to feel the touch of everything around you. It's dark. In just an instant, the entire sky was shrouded in darkness. An unprecedented power surged. Dino's figure changed. When it reappears, Dino disappears and is replaced by a brand new character 0.0. A head of silver hair. The upper body is wrapped in red, with a sun-like silver pattern in front of him. He was wearing white suit pants and shoes. It is the incarnation of the will of the earth. Then the battle is over. The serpent soul accepted by Dino is strong, even no less than the four-winged falling angel. Only see him. His hands were raised high, crossed above his head, and his slender fingertips seemed to be poking at something. Ciela below couldn't help but feel a little palpitated. Immediately rushed forward to completely destroy her. Boozing, disappear, the devil's eyes are open. The power is venting wildly. Not to be outdone, Dino murmured softly, everything. Go back to. Let's go. The sky falls. No move appeared, and the body of Ciela who rushed forward was defeated by invisible force. Blood was dripping from his mouth. His eyes were white, and his body fell weakly from the air. It has lost its power to fight again. Chapter 166, Dino, come and kill me. I am waiting for you in Fairy Tale. Lost? Is it so defeated? Listener and Elfman were shocked to see the Tartaros members falling to the ground. What just happened? A silver light flashed, and the heavens and the earth created momentum for it. Everything at the snap of his fingers turned into an attack, and the invisible force defeated Ciela's most terrifying ultimate move. Silver light flashed. Day. Sunny. Dino also changed back to the ground, as if nothing had happened. Only the ruined construction of the town tells everyone, there was an unprecedented war here just now. No. Are you alright? Elfman took Listener down from the roof, walked to Dino's side and stared at the fallen guy and couldn't help but ask. And Listener is also a little worried. I am worried that the battle just now will cause some damage to Dino. It's okay. You guys go back to the guild early. Dino shook his head with a smile, walked to Ciela who was fainting, reached out and grabbed her neck and lifted it up, taking out a crystal ball from her. Go straight ahead and let it float in midair. Then let me get in touch with the Tartaros people. Dino thought of a very fun, reached out and manipulated the crystal ball and started to contact the people of Tartaros. Electricity flashed. 16. Soon a familiar face of Dino reappeared in the crystal ball. Yo hello, members of Tartaros. Dino grinned, stretched out his hand and brought Ciela in front of him, looking at the woman named Kyoka in the crystal ball with a playful expression. Know her? Dino asked. Inside the crystal ball, Kyoka was furious. Her eyes squinted, and she swept over Ciela and felt distressed. What did you do to Ciela? Deny my eyes. Can you endure? Alright, then I'll start a little bit. I saw Dino's right arm stretched out, a golden light flashed, and there was already a 7th song in his hand. He grabbed the 7 songs without saying a word and stabbed into Ciela's body. Puff. Hilda. Ciela was awakened by the pain, and the bloodshot in her eyeball intensified. In the crystal ball, Kyoka's face was frosty, and the power in his body continued to run wild, which caused the crystal ball's picture to be affected. Did he lose contact? Kiss. It looks like this woman is very important to you. Dino picked out 7 songs with a smile. The blade moved back and forth against Ciela's face and was ready to strike. Human, do you know the consequences of offending our 9 demon gates? Believe me, that kind of ending is absolutely unacceptable to you, and the consequences of all this are beyond your ability to bear. Kyoka's tone was deep. The whole person stared with frost-like eyes. Yes, Puff. As Dino spoke, another pain struck Erza, who was still twisting the dagger. Screaming again and again. Ciela was splitting in pain, and there was still some demonic arrogance in that now. The severe pain in her body made her unbearable, panting and wanting to die. Later, both Elfman and Lisa covered their mouths and noses. They didn't expect Dino to strike so hard and deal a second damage to the order combat enemy. This is somewhat against the rules of their guild. This scream is really very pleasant. Dino looked happy, with the rotation of the 7 songs in his hand. The screams also became a pleasant symphony for the entire town. Furious. She was really angry, listening to the screams of Ciela in the crystal ball and also wanted to kill someone in anger. At the same time, she also suddenly sounded the human being who had been tortured by herself. Their companions should be so helpless and angry at this moment. What? At this time, the 7 songs in Dino's hand crossed, a flash of silver light flashed past, and Ciela's scream stopped. Her body fell to the ground. The head was still held by Xiao Han. Angry, grief-stricken. Do you want to kill me? Dino narrowed his eyes and looked at Kyoka's face in the crystal ball and said slowly, you'll regret it. You'll definitely regret fighting our 9 demon gates. The wrath of the devil is unbearable for you and even everyone in this world. Kyoka got angry. Show off your anger at Dino in the crystal ball. Those eyes, that tone, and all the movements were full of anger. Come and kill me. My name is Dino, waiting for you at the Fairy Tale Guild. All the rest of you 9 demon gates, come here, where I will bury you with my own hands. Dino threw Ciela's head into the sky. A magic circle appeared in his hand. A golden light hit the head. Boom. The explosion sounded, and Ciela's head was directly blown up by Dino. There was a wicked smile at the corners of the slightly cruel mouth. Reach out and wave to break the crystal ball. Dino. You. Elfman and Listener opened their mouths to speak, and Dino waved to them with his back to stop. Excessive? To be honest, Dino doesn't think it's too much. Anyone who has read the original knows that too many people in Fairy Tale were abused when Tartaros was here. Erza was tortured like a ghost. As a staunch strong man, a supporter and admirer of Erza. It's no exaggeration for Erza's torturers to give them the same torture, which is why he looks so cruel. The idea of Tartaros was not spared at all. Think back to the plot. Listener was stripped, Erza was stripped, Lucy was stripped. All those scenes came to Dino's mind. It made her even more angry. Torture? This is already Dino's benevolent treatment. Go back to the guild. I'll go somewhere else. Dino speaks to two people. The figure was also moved by the breeze and slowly disappeared in front of I-783. Listener and Elfman had no choice but to turn around and leave. Inside Tartaros, Kyoka stood in the core of hell, watching Sealer slowly forming in one of the liquids, and she was even more angry. The core of hell, the place where Tartaros members are reborn. No matter what kind of death you suffer outside, you can be reborn here. And now there are already 3 being reborn here, and a new one is about to be born. Fairy Tale Dino, I must kill you, and you who hurt Sealer will suffer the most horrific destruction from Tartaros, and your guild will also be wiped out by us. When I catch you, I must torture you to death, and let you know the power of our Tartaros. Kyoka is angry. Whether it's Sealer or Jackal over there or Storm is respawning. The Storm blew itself up because of Lagosas. Jackal was killed by Dino, and now Sealer is also killed. It's all Fairy Tale's fault. They must be destroyed. Fran Morth, Kyoka called. A short, one-eyed demon covered in armor stepped forward. Kyoka-sama. Kyoka turned to watch him give the order, let our base move towards the Fairy Tale Guild. This time, we must destroy Magnolia to avenge our members. Chapter 167, Dino, Zeref. How about I give you a ride? Rumbling dash. The earth was shaking, and the entire land of Ishgar squeezed out female faces from the ground. The pure white crystal column also looks a little shivering. Dino is flying. After feeling this vibration, I couldn't help but stop flying. King glanced around and sighed helplessly and turned around. I didn't expect Feith to turn on so quickly, so I can't run around like this. Is it dangerous to open Fez? That is naturally very big. After all, if the magic power disappears, it will also make countless people uncomfortable. Death is also inevitable. In addition, with the launch of Fez, Tartaros and Fairy Tale will also start a war. It's no use staying here any longer. Simply head to Tartaros' lair and start the carnage. Underworld Island. A large boxy building floated in the air. When it stopped, it had come to Magnolia City, and the Fairy Tale Guild was in the sky. And the status quo caused by it is the big chaos. All the members of Fairy Tale log onto this Underworld Island, and the people of the Underworld and the Gate start a war. Countless people are fighting. Countless common soldiers of Tartaros also fought against it. Everyone is fighting the enemy with their best efforts. Injuries are also inevitable, but none of Fairy Tale's companions have any complaints. They are there to protect the continent, also to avenge Lagosas. Its interior. Natsu dashed inside ahead of the pack, fighting with a group of soldiers. When needed, the surroundings have changed. Originally, he entered a special space in an instant around the castle. Those soldiers remained in a state of being sent flying. What? They all stopped in the air. Natsu looked weird at those enemies too. Da. Footsteps came from behind. Natsu immediately turned around and looked over. Who? I saw that the visitor had short black hair. There are white clothes hanging in front of him, and the person who comes is the legendary Zeref. You're still here, even though I had expected. Zeref looked at Natsu and continued. Here is the Zeref bookshelf, Tartaros, the capital where my books live. Natsu blushed. Zeref. This guild was founded by the demons I created, Tartaros, alias Zeref bookshelf. Zeref doesn't have any ideas to reminisce, either. Explaining the origin of Tartaros to Natsu, every word is very slow, but Natsu can hear it clearly. The guild itself was not created by me. It is said that the guild leader N created it. Natsu's whole face darkened. End. That's the guy Gnil wants to kill. Zeref continued. You're wrong. It's the guy he didn't kill. Natsu doesn't care that much. Since you see Zeref here, it's natural to kill him. Immediately pick up a wide blade from the ground and slash forward. Then, it's up to me to defeat him. My father's wishes will be inherited by me. Said that the blade in his hand slashed from left to right, top to bottom. The blade slid across Zeref's body and landed on the ground. But it failed to cause any impact, and Zeref's body did not receive even a single bit of damage. Instead, the blade in Natsu's hand was broken. You can do it. Zeref continued quietly. But I hope you don't forget that, Igna failed to kill him. Natsu watched warily as Zeref continued to remain silent. But Zeref continued to speak unconcernedly. The strongest demon and I created will also force you to face a choice, let it go or kill it. Natsu didn't understand what Zeref had told himself so much for. But he still looked at him warily. Then I'll take my leave. Zeref intends to retire. At this time, Dino's figure squeezed in forcefully, swept across Natsu and Zeref and smiled. Kiss. Are you brothers reminiscing? Dino raised an eyebrow. Natsu doesn't know why. He's the enemy. And Zeref was stunned. He obviously didn't expect Dino to know his relationship with Natsu. Also, the clock in his brain is spinning rapidly, trying to know who the person in front of him is. Zeref, are you going? Why don't you just sit here on your bookshelf and let me give you a ride and kill you? Dino said. Zeref didn't answer directly. Looking back at Natsu, Tartaros is doing these things to see me. Wouldn't it be a disappointment if I showed up casually? The person who finally came to me, is it you? Or is it End? We will meet again. After he finished speaking, he turned his attention to Dino again. Your appearance is an accidental pawn. Now I don't want to seek death, I just want to see who will appear in the end. Zeref spoke. However, Dino said directly, are you sure you won't show up? In fact, you have no choice. With me here, neither End nor Tartaros will play. If I don't see you in this battle, then I will go to your kingdom to destroy them. Zeref rose again. It is also surprising that a strange Dino knows. But he didn't ask, but his body glowed with white light. I will find an opponent for you. I look forward to your death together. Boom. Everything around is shattered. The soldiers all recovered. Natsu questioned, Dino, do you know where End is? In your heart? Dino raised his eyebrows and looked at Natsu, then waved his hand. Everyone has a demon in their heart. When your demon is about to appear, do you choose to be a demon or a human? Dino's figure also disappeared. Natsu, who was left alone with a puzzled face, couldn't understand what the two of them were saying. On land, a group of people are also fighting desperately. Dino suddenly appeared in front of several people and hit the enemies. Brother Dino. Dino brother. Wendy and Lucy and others were also immediately pleasantly surprised. Dino nodded. Fez's seal has been undone. You all go to find a way to organize him. Just leave the battle here to me. Wendy and Lucy immediately nodded in agreement. Without saying a word, he rushed directly towards the interior of the entire island to find a way to stop Fez. Dino, on the other hand, stayed out and played against vulnerable opponents. I was also thinking about which demon to kill first. Dino, how much do you know about Tartaros? The guild members over there also shouted at Dino, wanting to know the way to kill these people from his mouth. Dino responded, there are 9 strongest in Tartaros. They are collectively called 9 demon gates. All of them are demons in the book of Zeref, and all them use spells that are difficult to deal with by magic. Makraf and the others sank. Zakionhao, feeling something is not right. Is there any quick fix? Mirajane is also fighting against Listener and the Elfmont sisters. A fight is also trying to figure out a way. The others couldn't help but look over, waiting for Dino's answer. The demons of Tartaros are immortal, and within them there is a regeneration place called the Core of Hell, where all slain demons can regenerate. In addition, Minerva, the former eldest lady of the Swordbite Tiger, and President Hades are also being transformed into demons. Shock. Makraf and the others were quite shocked and did not expect such a situation. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that this matter is not too simple to deal with. To kill Tartaros completely seems to have to deal with what they regenerate now. But it doesn't matter, you just need to stand up. I said to kill all Tartaros people. There are not a few left now, just leave it to me. After Dino finished speaking, he immediately killed several enemies in front of him. Flash away when you want to start looking for the other members of the 9 demon gates. Chapter 168, The Profound Truth of Slaying the DragonPoison. Hemlock Valley Big Cave. Dino only remembered Faith when he was looking for the rest of the 9 demon gates. There are only 20 minutes left until the launch of Fez. In order to prevent problems in the next battle, he plans to destroy Fez first. It's coming here soon. What? It's so small. What a joke. Kyoka guy. How can this be enough to fill my stomach? I just took 2 steps forward when I heard a sound inside. This makes Dino a little weird. Who else got here first? How dare you force such a rotten job on me? Boom dash. The explosion sounded. Dino aim also accelerated. No matter who was inside, he couldn't be killed by someone. That guy seems to be Tartaros' man. Go deep. Soon see both sides of the battle. Among them is a strange monster. It has 4 arms and 8 octopus tails. The body is cyan. It is Ezel, one of the 9 demon gates. The others are Wendy and Carla. Dino didn't expect Wendy and Carla to be faster than him, so they could find this place first. Rumble. That guy named Ezel attacks very fast. Wendy and Carla were not opponents at all, and they were pressed for a while. 5 swords in the world. Animaru. Ezel crossed his arms in front of him and immediately issued a cross slash. The power was actually chopped towards Wendy. Ding. Dino couldn't just sit back and watch. Waving a broad knight's sword in his hands, dash to the cross slash. Swing the broadsword and resist that slash. Dino brother. Dino. Carla and Wendy were also overjoyed when they saw Dino. Immediately, he leaned behind Dino. Well, I didn't expect you two to run very fast, Wendy and Carla. I remember talking to you at the time of the Underworld Island. Dino nodded lightly. Wendy also immediately said, well, it was Sister Lucy and I who found Faith's location, and I hurried over after that. Carla added, I didn't expect to meet this guy when I first came here. After listening to the words of the 2 people, Dino also expressed his understanding. Immediately, he turned his eyes to Ezel in front of him. It was delivered to the door again. It seems that 2 people and 1 cat are just enough to fill their stomachs. You obediently let me eat you. Ezel looked at Dino in front of him without showing weakness. The tongue sticking out is also drooling greedily. Looking at Dino, and Wendy's eyes are also full of appetite, as if they are already their own dishes. Dino held the sword upright in front of him. Ezel, you will be the 3rd demon I kill. Right. As soon as the voice fell, Dino's figure rushed to the ground. The broadsword in his hand was also assisting Dino in dealing with the enemy in front of him, and the blade also slashed towards Ezel. Damn it, are you the one who killed Jackal and Sealer? Ezel's two arms turned into sharp swords, slashing towards Dino, and the two men's swords clashed. No one stepped back. Ping pong dash. Dangton. The sharp sword collided, and the fire also went out. The speed of the two people also changed from slow to fast, and in the end, only the after images of the arms of the two people and the sparks rubbed by the collision of the weapons could be seen. Another collision. Dino slashed from top to bottom with a sword in both hands, and Ezel crossed his swords in front of him, blocking Dino's broadsword above his head, and the two of them froze. Not only that, you will also be my defeat in a while. Dino smiled. So far, the two of them have only been competing in swordsmanship. Neither are weak, but it's a bit difficult to decide the winner. But if you use magic, it's no surprise, Dino can instantly kill Ezel in front of him. Bell. At this time, Ezel's two remaining arms also instantly turned into sharp swords. Swipe left and right and slashed towards Dino's waist. Once hit, Dino will also be cut in half. Phew. The breeze was blowing around Dino. His body disappeared in front of his eyes and returned to Wendy's slash mode. The sound of Ezel sounded. The speed increased again, and the four arms attacked again with four sharp swords. This time Dino didn't use the broadsword. The weapon in the hand disappeared. The left and right hands extended horizontally, and the palm of the hand bloomed with golden light. Change the magic sword. The light in the right hole blooms. A large sharp knife with a scabbard appeared in the palm of his hand. After gripping the weapon, put it on the waist. Dino pushes the handle with his thumb, and a 10-centimeter flirtatious blade leaks out. EAI slash. Swipe. The golden light bloomed, and Dino's figure flashed across Ezel's body. The blade in his hand has been sheathed. Ezel's body, who was rushing over, also kept its wide-open shape and stood not far from Wendy. Bloodshots appeared in the chest. Puff. Blood sprays appear when needed. Ezel's body fell to the ground weakly. Even if it didn't die, it couldn't live. Dino Jeffers. To destroy Feith quickly. Wendy hurriedly spoke to Dino when the enemy fell, and Dino shook his head slightly. Look at Wendy and speak. Little Wendy, it's your task to destroy Feith. How can you let others help you? Go ahead. The task of destroying him is up to you. Carla and Wendy froze, but they didn't say anything, and the two came to the huge fez hand in hand. Wendy took a deep breath, puffed up his cheeks to attack. Dragon's roar. Boom. Dragon Slayer magic bombarded the huge column of fez, but to no avail. The smoke disappeared, and Feith was still standing intact, with no damage to his body. How come? Wendy and Carla were shocked, and they couldn't believe it when they saw that Feith was not injured. Turning to look at Dino. Bgah. I saw him still standing with a smile on his face, not saying anything, not doing anything at the same time. Brother Dino said leave it to me. Then I can definitely do it. Wendy clenched her fists. He continued to vent the magic in his body and bombarded the pillar of fez. But, allowing her to attack desperately is still useless. One person and one cat is a bit desperate. Why can't this be broken? Feith, who watched the countdown, also felt sadness in his heart. Wendy, you are the Dragon Slayer who controls the sky. How can you just give up? Then Dino's voice sounded again. His purpose is very simple, to let Wendy master the power of the dragon. Wendy was obedient. After a little thought, he stood up and closed his eyes to feel the strangeness in the air. The fresh air of Fez is filled with high concentrations of magic particles. Wendy suddenly made a big discovery. He couldn't help turning his head to look at Dino, who also nodded lightly with a smile. If I can inhale it, maybe I can also master the power of the dragon. Rumbling dash. The earth is shaking, and the air can't help but relax. Furious and pouring into the body with infinite magic, Wendy's long hair fluttered. The airwaves overturned the ground. Long pink hair dancing high. A pair of small white wings appeared on the back. At the same time, small white wings appeared on the wrists and ankles. She stood there, even though he was motionless. His body exuded a palpitating magic power. The gravel under and around the feet is suspended round. Carla was shocked. Wendy has actually mastered Dragon Slayer's unique power at this moment. I can hear the sound of the wind. I can feel the surging of the atmosphere. This space is now under my control. Wendy soared into the sky, suspended in midair, arms stretched out, hands clawed as if grabbing all the space around. This is an enlightenment. Wendy, she made a move. Dragon slaying profound truth as Alpo middle dot skyware. Rumbling. The earth trembled. The wind around is controlled by Wendy, and everything caters to Wendy's moves. A powerful beam of light pierces the entire Fez column. The roar sounded, and Feith was completely destroyed by this blow. Wendy falls from the air. Before landing, Dino rushed to the princess to hug Wendy. The little girl looked at Dino, who was close at hand. Her face was red, and smoke was coming from her head. Well done. Remember the feeling after mastering the power of the dragon. It will help you a lot in the future. Dino replied with a smile. Wendy blushed in her arms. Carla's eyes flicked back and forth between the two. Have a leg tilde. Rolling tongue groaning. It makes Wendy more than shy. Ha ha ha. Next second, Faith's countdown poured into his ears again. Wendy and Carla both looked in disbelief. What's the matter? Fez has been destroyed and the countdown didn't stop. Wendy was shocked. Carla couldn't believe it. It shouldn't be like this. Put Wendy on the ground. Dino walked towards the destroyed Fez. Who told you to destroy this and it's over? It's not over yet, Dino said. He stretched out his hand and slid back and forth over the destroyed Fez. Right now, Feith is absorbing the magic particles that he is looking at. As long as these magic particles are converted into other attributes, and the magic circle is destroyed with discipline, this will explode. Dino continued. Wendy and Carla behind them were silent. But in this way, aren't we here too? Carla spoke in a low voice. She got this possibility from the foreknowledge of the future. Of course not possible, with me. As Dino said that, he clicked the button for the self-discipline collapse magic circle. When he wants to, he flashes and disappears in front of Feith. Come behind Carla and Wendy, wrap their arms around both of them and flash away. Chapter 169, Kill 9 Demon Gates. ka.boom. The whole valley is like an upside-down bowl. The roar exploded. The mountains and valleys were affected by the huge explosion, and the entire continent was trembling. It's time to go back. Dino flew Wendy and Carla towards the Underworld island. This battle is indeed coming to an end. No matter who the enemy is, it should be completely over. The real battle is still waiting for D-Number. Underworld Island. Guild members each have their own enemies. One of the most intense battles was between Erza and Kyoka. Magical power. It didn't disappear. Did the Fez plan fail? Kyoka couldn't help but answer, feeling the magic still in the air. Soon she turned and flew away. Are you going to run away? Erza is ready to chase. Then Kyoka also left a message and left. I'll leave it to you here. Get rid of all the fairies for me. You don't need to say it. The female voice sounded. The person who came was the reborn Minerva. We finally meet on the most gorgeous stage. Erza Scarlet. One-eyed Minerva stood in front of Erza. Minerva, you. Erza recognized at a glance who the woman in front of her was. The little girl's name is the new Minerva. Let me show you the power of the little girl after being reborn as a demon. Minerva swung his waist and rushed, and Kyoka, who fled away, also went to a certain place. The failure of the Fez plan was completely unexpected, and now we can only forcefully wake up the end president. She thought so. But in an instant, an attack came. Kyoka immediately avoided and stopped, looking at the human who appeared in front of him, with endless anger in his eyes. You killed Ciela, Jackal's killer. Fairy tales Dino. Kyoka was furious. It was the guy in front of him who brutally killed Ciela. Kyoka, the leader of the 9 demon gates, has the ability to strengthen, but if the opponent is too weak, he will become a paper man. And he can also strengthen other people's pain and other emotions. Dino watched silently. The identity and abilities of Kyoka were also analyzed immediately. Kyoka looked at Dino in front of him with a gloomy face, and was shocked in her heart, and was shocked by the fact that he was able to reveal his identity. But she didn't respond much. End the battle and kill all the demons of your Tartaros. Zeref will come out, and then the massacre will begin. The magic within Dino begins to unleash. I originally planned to slowly kill these demons one by one, but now it's obvious that I don't have that much free time. I plan to kill the most powerful ones and end this boring battle. The ground beneath my feet was smashed to pieces. Dino's figure rushed out, punching at Kyoka's head. Kyoka also knew that it was not easy to leave. Simply collide with it. The strength of the two should not be underestimated. A simple collision. The surrounding land was completely shattered. Strange rocks, buildings and walls were smashed to pieces. The airwaves surged around. Wind magic. Verdant speed. Dino aimed his left hand at Kyoka. A grey magic circle appeared in front of the palm, and countless emerald green wind blades burst out from the magic circle to strike Kyoka. Kyoka shook her body as she waved. Those seemingly powerful magics had nothing to do with her, and her hands became slender in the next second. Like the claws of a lobster, they slap each other and lock towards Dino. Imposing manner. That finger seems to cut people to pieces. Dino stepped back immediately. He put his hands in front of him and clapped suddenly. Rock magic middle. Overlord rock break. Boom boom boom. The magic circle bloomed, and the surrounding land where Kyoka was standing instantly shot out rock walls one after another, wrapping around Kyoka's body. Kyoka in front of his fingers turned into a big ball wrapped in countless rocks. Drink. Dino drinks. The rock in front of him instantly burst into countless rays of light. Just when the big explosion was about to happen, that light was cut off. Kyoka's hands cut and smashed the surrounding rock, and her body leaked out. Dino frowned slightly. Really? The physique and the magic of these demons are also super strong. The possibility of wanting to kill them is also very small, so you have to be serious. Take a deep breath. The chest bulges. Zobangt's eye surging like a toad, a fiery flame brewing in his mouth. Fire dragons roar. Hot flames spewed from his mouth. The ground in front of him was plowed out of ditches by this roar. It swept towards Kyoka in a fan shape, and her figure was drowned by that mighty force. Oh, it's too weak. In flames. Kyoka's laughter was not hidden, and her demonic figure emerged. It didn't take long to step out of the flames. The clothes on his body are burning, but it will disappear automatically in a short time. It seems that if you want to cause some damage to you, you still need melee combat. Dino sighed. I wanted to use a long-range attack, but now it seems impossible. Must be careful. Kyoka was disdainful and charged towards Dino. The stones on the ground that both feet had stepped on were smashed away, leaving a big hole with 1 foot. Ask for flowers. Oh, dragon power. Dino withdrew his mouth, and the dragon power surged in his body. Dragon scales were exposed on both arms and face, and sharp claws leaped out like claws on both hands. Instantly disappeared to the ground. Kyoko was shocked, and the Dino speed in front of her was so fast that she couldn't find the person's location immediately. You are too slow. The sound came from overhead. Kyoko looked up, and Dino's fist had fallen. Heavy bombardment on the lower back. Boom. The unparalleled strength smashed him to the ground. The spiderweb-like lines began to spread in all directions, and there was a deep pit of dozens of centimeters in the center. The entire underworld island was shaking uncontrollably. This force is too strong. Let everyone feel the shock. Cough. Cough. Coughing up blood. Kyoko couldn't believe that his demon body was spitting blood with a punch. Blood in the body is chaotic. It is unimaginable that he has already suffered internal injuries. The Flame Dragon King's collapse fist. The fight was not over yet after this punch. Dino's fist was raised again, enough to burn space in his right fist. The surrounding temperature was suddenly rising. Danger. Quite dangerous. Kyoko felt the threat of death from the punch. If this hits him, he will definitely die. He must resist. He must do it. Deprive me of your 5 senses. Kyoko growled. The power of the spell is being released, and Dino's 5 senses are instantly deprived, which is a wonderful feeling. Dino immediately clenched his fists and hit the ground. His 5 senses have been deprived, and it is temporarily unclear where the enemy is. It can only be analyzed according to the time when it is still seen. Boom. Taste. The earth shook, and a large hole opened again on the island of the underworld, and a new hole was directly opened. Miss. Dino was able to tell from the punch that was thrown that the blow missed Kyoko. Take a deep breath. Dino uses the same spell immediately. After recovering his 5 senses, he swept his surroundings, and the figure of Kyoko still disappeared. I didn't expect to let you run away in the end. Dino felt a little pity. To be honest, he was playing well and was forced to end the fight. Really feel sorry, but forget it. The next thing is to kill Mard Geer. Saying that, Dino walked towards the interior of the underworld island. Find the location of that Mard Geer. 0. Chapter 170, Water God Dragon 1 Inside the castle of the underworld. Lord Mard Geer, the king of the underworld, the power of the enemy is beyond our imagination. Kyoko knelt down on one knee and bowed to the man with the book exposed on the throne in front of him. The Fez plan failed, and Ezel, Ciela, Jackal, and Tempest were all wiped out by the enemy. Kyoko felt sad in her heart. Thinking about it like this, I found that the strength of Fairy Tail is really beyond imagination. The core of hell was just destroyed by Fairy Tail, and they couldn't survive. On the throne, Mard Geer pressed his chin with one hand and spoke in a flat tone. How come? Kyoko was shocked, but she didn't expect that even the ones they resurrected would be destroyed by the enemy, and they were almost able to be resurrected. Right now, the only thing I can do is let the president. That won't work. Kyoko was about to propose, but Mard Geer ejected it before he could say it. He said, the current magic power is not enough to wake up the president, and the magic power end must be eliminated in order to revive. Kyoko pointed out that 787 was puzzled at first. However, the Fez plan to eliminate magic power has failed. Mard Geer smiled. You don't see the big picture yet, Kyoko. Mard Geer is the perfect strategist, and looking at the big picture, the collapse of Fez is just one piece of the puzzle, and there's nothing wrong with it right now. Soon, the magic of this world will be gone. Kyoko sternly said. You mean? Mard Geer smiled contemptuously. I hate someone to defile my yard. It's time to use Allegria. Wow. Boom dash. At this time, the underworld island in the air vibrated wildly. Tentacles began to extend below the boxy thing. Everyone in the underworld island was shocked. What's going on? Why did the ground gravity field suddenly disappear? It's about to fall. Find something to grab it. It will hurt you if you fall. At the same time, many people inside found that the ground under their feet and the surrounding walls also began to mutate. What is this? The body is sucked by something. Gray struggled to move, but his body couldn't resist the suction. All people are attracted by this force. Lord Mard Geer, in this way. The soldiers of our guild also, Kyoko said. Hades. Mard Geer stepped down from the throne, holding a book in one hand. Erosion, living sacrifice, death and rebirth, despair and hope, stupid race. This underworld island is a gigantic prison itself, a prison inside the body of a beast called Hades. The island of the underworld is transformed into a terrifying beast. Unimaginable tentacles stared out, and one of them had a bloody mouth, and the mouth opened to see the bottomless hell. That pitch-black abyss-like terror seemed to devour everything. Okay. Soon Mard Geer froze. 2 people escaped Allegria. In terms of probability, it's probably only 1 in a billion. How lucky this is. It should be the misfortune of being alone in the underworld. Mard Geer walked out talking to himself. The back of a huge behemoth. Dino yawned and scanned the emptiness around him. Lucy may be the only one who can still move now. Well, after all, Lucy can't be thrown away and left alone. Her strength can only be considered average, and if she doesn't care about it, there may be an accident. Dino walked lightly towards Lucy's place. Inside at the moment. Lucy panted and looked at the two enemies in front of him. What? Her ultimate trick is to summon 3 people. She must have used her magic power too much and couldn't move. Tartaros, Lami and Tartaros stood in front of Lucy, who fell to the ground, mumbling in their mouths. Can't end like this. I'm going to save everyone. Lucy dragged her tired body and kept moving towards the distance. Ignore the words of the two behind him. Let me kill her directly. That's too boring. You have to torture her properly. The two talked again. Gah. At this time, a golden light shot out, directly piercing the cruel woman named Lami. Lami's pupils dilated. Penetrated by the golden light, he fell directly to the ground. His mouth was stunned and he didn't say a word. Lucy is shocked. That Tartaros was also shocked. Who gave you the right to hurt my tenants like this? Dino's figure flashed, standing beside Lucy. He stared gloomily at the guy in front of him. Judging from the scarred body, she has worked very hard. Brother Dino. Lucy burst out laughing and crying, and her physical injuries made her unable to say more words. Healing magic. Dino beckoned, and a green light fell on Lucy's body. Stepping forward. The target is Tartaros in front of him. Who are you? Tartaros looked at the sudden appearance, and the man who killed Lami with one move was also extremely vigilant. He didn't even notice the move just now. If this hits him, he may be instantly killed. This is enough to prove that this guy is not simple. Fairy tales. Dino. I've already killed several 9 demon gates at the location. Are you ready to die now? Dino tilted his head and looked at the guy in front of him with a cold tone. Body hardening. Blade attack. When Ginger, Tartaros immediately used a mantra to harden his body. Furthermore, the amazingly powerful sharp blade slashed towards Dino in an instant. And Dino is an understatement. Raising his left arm, a white light shrouded his eyes. That sharp blade attack was instantly wiped out. Step again. Such an understatement also let Tartaros know that this person is not simple. Looks like I can't beat you without using the true power of the Book of Zeref. He said that his body was shrouded in dark green light. The snap of your fingers has also changed. The gills of the fish grow on both sides of the head, and the indicators and shapes of the body change towards the appearance of the fish. It definitely doesn't look weak. Black water spell. With a loud shout, a large amount of black water surged out of the passage. Plan to use water battle to fight. Be careful, Dino. It's pretty fast in the water too. Lucy grabbed the relay point and endured the impact of these black waters, and after a while the entire passage was shrouded in black water. Ha ha ha, I am invincible in the water. Deep shock. Tartaros started the move with a big laugh. The body was hidden in the water, sending out a powerful shockwave in the water, attacking Dino with amazing power. Triple magic array, mirror water. Dino stretched out his hand, and a 3-layer magic circle appeared in front of him, and the powerful shockwave was instantly bounced back. He didn't waste time, sprinting over again, as blue dragon scales emerged from both arms. 0.0. Take a deep breath of black water. Breathe forward. Water dragons, roar. The rolling water flow was instantly controlled by Dino, and the whirlpool of the tornado galloped like a violent typhoon. The water roared and chased. The amazingly powerful roar surrounded Tess with the flick of his fingers. Ahilda. The screams continued. Even Tartaros' defenses couldn't withstand this violent force. The body was torn apart. The blood water stained the surrounding water sources, and the black water quickly dissipated. White Dino and Lucy also showed their bodies. Lucy is weird. It's amazing. After hearing this, Dino chuckled in disapproval. Is it strong? The water god dragon is also one of the 5 god dragons. Even if its power is not as good as the black dragon Akuro, it is not far behind. Killing a demon is really easy, especially in water. If one trick can't be done, then it's called irony. Chapter 171, one after another super magic. Go out and wait outside for that Mard Geer. Think he'll be there soon. Dino's body burns with fire. After drying the clothes, he also took Lucy out of the underworld island. Back of the beast. Dino sat quietly on a rock waiting for the enemy to come. Seeing that he didn't take the initiative to speak and didn't dare to speak, Lucy just waited beside him, constantly thinking about where the other companions were. Are you the 2 humans who escaped? Not for a moment. A person came out of the underworld island. He holds the book in his hands, and on the whole he can perceive that he is a ruthless person with a brutal temperament. He is Mard Geer, the current leader of Tartaros. Mard Geer, I've been waiting for you for so long. Call out the rest of your members, Kyoka, Silver, Framwolf, and Keys. See the Lord appear. Dino stood up from the stone and looked at Mard Geer in front of him calmly and asked him to call out the remaining 9 demon gates. Mard Geer's eyes were slightly concerned. I didn't expect you to know a lot about our 9 demon gates members. Did Fairy Tale have such a detailed investigation of us? Tartaros is the most mysterious. It has never appeared to cause trouble in the society. 16 so for outsiders. Almost no one knows their existence. But the guy in front of him was able to investigate the members. So, has the person you didn't name been killed by you? Mard Geer added. Ciela, Jackal, Lami, Tempest, Erza, Tartaros are all dead. I am afraid that several were beheaded by the guy in front of him. I've killed 5, and the rest are you and the others." Dino calmly said several Nine Demon Gates members he had killed. He said that if he would kill everyone in Tartaros, he would definitely kill him. If Kyoko hadn't escaped fast, he would have died. Ha 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 ha. Mard Geer laughed wildly. "Joke, how can you understand the power of our Tartaros? Since you want to see it, it is as you want." He laughed. Soon the rest of the people slowly came out and stood behind Mard Geer. Dino took a few steps forward. "Take a deep breath. Extend your arms and bend your fingers down. One finger to the ground, one hand to the sky. The power in the body is constantly venting. True celestial magic star collapse. Hum. The power is rising, and the whole sky turns grey. In the starry sky, a fiery red meteor landed from the sky and the earth, and the flames around the meteorite were burning. Fear like the end of the world. Just kidding. Silver behind Mard Geer couldn't help but complain when he saw the slowly falling meteorite. The fall of this huge meteorite is going to be the end of the earth. Ah, but that's it. Mard Geer chuckled, raised one hand and waved it out immediately. Sharp thorns on the ground pierced out from the ground, piercing the meteorite when needed, and the thorns smashed the huge stone as if alive, break them into pieces. Boom 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 dash. Although Mard Geer smashes meteorites with thorns, but in the end, the time was a bit rushed, and the meteorite was decomposed into large pieces of stone and fell to the ground. Bang bang smashed the ground. The entire Underworld island was shaking constantly, and Lucy standing behind him was even more unstable. "You go up," Mard Geer ordered the only remaining men. Those people immediately led the charge towards Dino and Lucy. "Brother Dino, I'll help you." Lucy immediately took out the celestial spirit key to help. However, Dino reached out and waved, and a gust of wind swept her father back. "No need, it's just a Tartaros, I'm enough." The voice just fell. Dino jumped back and opened a distance of 1 meter. "Put your right arm upright in front of you, and hold your left arm." In an instant, black mysterious lines appear on Dino's right forearm. "Gather, a river of light led by fairies, illuminate, to destroy the evil Peakling Fang. When you want." Dino's arm blooms with endless golden light. The enemies in front of the shining eyes can't help but close their eyes, and their bodies stop rushing forward. Lucy in the back even closed his eyes tightly, and the golden light looked extremely powerful. It shocked her too. Brother Dino is really as strong as ever. Fairy. Brilliant. Light flashed. Dino's arm was aimed at the guy named Fran Morth, and an infinite light burst out instantly. What? There aren't any huge explosions. The light seemed to flash by. Moment. Everyone opened their eyes and looked over to find that the member of 9 Demon Gates had disappeared. Immediately, the rest of the 9 Demon Gates are a little guilty. This power seems to be a bit large. So strong. Lucy's eyes glittered with gold, and Dino's back stood in front of him like a strong arm, protecting everything. "Super magic? It seems that your strength is beyond imagination." Mard Geer was also a little dazed, and soon understood what the move just now was. He put on his serious eyes again and stared at Dino. The corner of Dino's mouth twitched slightly. The magic within the body began to condense frantically again. "It's not over yet." Dino raised his hands high, and the magic power in his body was vented rapidly. The few people who glanced over in front of them were also thinking about who to deal with this time. "Lucy!" Dino shouted to Lucy behind him. The latter looked over. "I teach you a trick of celestial spirit magic's super magic." Hearing this, Lucy immediately watched Dino's move seriously. Done. The chant sounded again. "We pray that the stars will come down from the hand of heaven. 787 light up, for this world, for this earth, please stretch out your hand, shine for it, stream down, to light up us. Step down and come." Mard Geer noticed something was wrong. Immediately, he pointed and controlled the thorns and stabbed towards Dino. But how could Dino have no defensive moves? Shrouded in grey light around the body, those thorns were disintegrated into dust before they touched Dino. This made Mard Geer very unhappy, and he hated the unexpected. "Withdraw. No matter how powerful the super magic is, it must hit the enemy," he ordered. Kyoko and Silver and Keys retreated immediately. "Always be ready to use your strongest moves to evade this attack." "Useless, full Tartaros," Dino murmured softly. The sky shone with stars, and the whole world was shrouded in little stars. A beam of light fell from the sky. The stars gathered, and the beam of light was about to hit Kyoko's body, wrapping her whole body in it. "God's coming." Buzz. The light blooms, and the special effects are full. The whole world was illuminated by this light, and it was still a seemingly harmless move, but it did make Mard Geer feel angry, and one after another members were killed. How he is not angry? Damn it. You are courting death. Mard Geer could no longer stay sane. Seeing Kyoko disappearing again, he was also full of anger, and countless thorns pierced through the ground like the wind and wrapped around Dino. Chapter 172. The Mysterious Enemy in the Eyes of Mard Geer. Order. Dino raised his arm and pointed. In between, Kyoko's corpse rushed to the front in an instant, and was penetrated by countless thorns. "You still have a spell." Mard Geer really has had a lot of gaffes. Incantation. This is the ability that only belongs to their demons. How can it appear to outsiders? And this guy doesn't look weak at all. The power of conjuration is even stronger than that of Sealer. Is there any hope of victory in this fight? He didn't even know. It is not known if the magic power of the whole world is removed in their favor, because this powerful enemy in front of him also has a spell. Demon Sword. Dino waved his hand, and countless knives rushed towards the remaining 3 people from all directions. That Silver is also very passive. Just keep dodging the blade, and so does Keys. Only Mard Geer steered the thorns against those blades. Dino spread his fingers at him. Linear mouth makes noise. Suddenly, gusts of wind swept the scene, and the black tornado blew the surrounding rubble buildings into the distance. Clean up a clean and tidy battlefield. Demon Sword spell, voice spell. Who the hell are you? Mard Geer's figure dodged the tornado, and his eyes became more and more puzzled. Dino didn't answer him at all. Raise your arm again, pointing your fingers together at Mard Geer. Flower of the demon world. This time Mard Geer is really going crazy. I was extremely shocked in my heart, and it was even more incomprehensible to see the thorns that appeared around my feet. The human in front of him even possessed the same spell as himself. What a shock. He couldn't understand, and couldn't guess whether this person's identity was related to Zeref. If it doesn't matter, so why does this spell appear on the body? Self-study? No, conjuration is not an ability that can be learned casually. There's definitely something wrong with this guy. I hid very quickly. Dino chuckled lightly, and his eyes swept across Keys and Jinshin, who were also thinking about countermeasures. He knew that Keys was a necromancer, so it is more difficult to kill it. But Silver can kill it. But Dino prefers to let Grey deal with him. In this way, Grey's strength can be improved, and in the future, he can also learn from Natsu and Grey by himself. There seems to be only one last option left. Long. Open your mouth and make a sound again. When needed, a gravitational force squeezed all around, and Mard Geer and Keys and even Silver were forced to distance themselves from Dino again. Dino stepped back. He spread his hands left and right, and a golden magic circle appeared. Gold flashes. A broadsword appeared. Dino raised the great sword in his hand, and the light bloomed. The sky was once again shrouded in stars. The dream of starlight shining on 88 stars in the sky. Unprecedented momentum is rising. The 3 guys on the opposite side were vigilant again, thinking about countermeasures in their hearts. This kind of person who has chanting text means that they are super magic. It is also quite difficult to kill someone with super magic. Even this kind of move cannot be avoided at all, and can only passively rely on strength to resist. But it's not easy. The broad and expansive beam of light directly enveloped Dino. A certain direction around is also surrounded by this beam of light. Mard Geer raised his eyebrows and stretched out again. All-round attack. Looking at Lucy behind him, he also found it funny. Do you want to kill the human behind you too? What? The beam of light collapsed. A wave of light was formed that swept around, right across the entire island of the underworld that has turned into a giant beast. When you want. Mard Geer immediately noticed the same, and stared at him in disbelief. You released Alegria with this light? He said different. Unexpectedly, the light is not attacking the enemy, but saving his companions. The light of the stars dispels the erosion of darkness, and as long as they live, so are you Tartaros. Dino chuckled. He rushed over to the ground and came to Yin in an instant. Leave the task of dealing with you to someone else. Dino's heart curled into claws, and he aimed at Yin's stomach and hit him. Gravity magic. The magic circle blooms, and the lines in it are flowing. Burst instantly. The whole body of Yin was shot out, and the purpose was to locate Grey. With a snap of his fingers, Dino rushed to Mard Geer to start the next fight with him. Our battle has only just begun. Blah blah blah. The battle between the two was fierce. The battle is not weak elsewhere. After Erza recovered, he didn't have time to think too much, and immediately controlled the sharp blade to attack Minerva in front of him. In the distance Grey was also keenly aware of someone rushing towards him. Immediately attack with ice-shape magic. The others fought with the common soldiers of Tartaros. Lucy, you go to the guild to meet up. Fighting with Mard with fists and feet, Dino also has time to give orders to Lucy behind him. Okay Dino bro. Lucy immediately turned around and rushed over to the guild companions without hesitation. And Mard Geer just looked at Lucy, but did not act. If he changed other times, he would definitely block more. But now there is no chance. The enemy in front of him is strong enough, making him unable to hold back a bit, and if it goes on like this, he may really have to fight with all his strength. Why? What are you afraid of? As the king of Wu, you still don't plan to reveal your demonic attitude. Dino's fist bearer blasts out with infinite power. Hit Mard Geer directly in the face. The latter was directly beaten back many steps before stopping, and stared at Dino very badly. Zhao, you absolutely don't want to see my devilish side. Mard Geer was talking, and to be honest, he felt that if he continued fighting like this, he would really be forced to show his demonic side. But that wasn't what he wanted to see. Dino chuckled back to the picture. Just about to open his mouth, and then closed his mouth. Mom listened. Softer. Saddle. Dino's face was a little weird, and the voice seemed familiar. If you guessed correctly, this is. Mard Geer was just about to attack the paper with the help of Dino's mind wandering, but also heard that voice. The constant scrutiny in my heart is also a bit weird. This is indeed beyond my expectations. He will come. Mard Geer muttered. Look at the person in front of you. However, he found out not only did he not have any fear, but he was still in a state of fighting spirit. This surprised him a little. Chapter 173, Dragon and Dragon. Not far from where Dino is, Wendy and Carla are also fighting with others. Suddenly, Wendy felt a little soft all of a sudden for some reason, falling straight to the ground without standing. Wendy, cheer up, what's wrong with you? Carla called out to Wendy immediately. Saddle saddle dash. The voice came when needed. Wendy's face changed dramatically, and her predictive ability was immediately used. The dark black wings enveloped her body and mind. Another place. Gagil and Natsu, along with Lucy and Juvia, sat on the floor and gave some news. Natsu, what's wrong with you? Lucy looked at Natsu next to him and couldn't help but ask. Natsu was silent. After waiting for the tea time, he looked at Gagil worriedly. Gagil, didn't you hear? Gagil Leng. Soon I heard that Sasu's voice, and an involuntary feeling was brewing from the depths of my heart. At the same time, all the dragon slayers held their chests in palpitations. Puff puff. His heart was beating fast, as if something was about to come out of his body. This voice can't be wrong. Natsu's body trembled a little. All the guildmates raised their eyes and looked at the existence that was leaping towards this direction in the distance. Black Dragon Akuro 790 low Nokia. Shocked. Acronia, the name is like a nightmare in the hearts of the members of the Fairy Tale Guild. That scene 7 years ago. That desperate fear hangs in the mind again. Fear. The big scary guy is really coming. For the members of the serious group, the black dragon represents despair and fear. It even came here again. I don't know if he was attracted by powerful magic, or was he after Zeref? Hades Mard Geer holds books in his arms. Looking at the black dragon at Kalonoya who was getting closer and closer, he couldn't help thinking. And Dino is judging with jumping eyes. Should he kill Mard Geer first or go directly to join the members of the guild? Roar. The sound of dragon roar is unparalleled. The existence that shocked the heart also rose from the bottom of the heart, and the members of Fairy Tale panicked. The black dragon stretched its black wings. Dawn descends from the sky over the earth. Phew! The wind howled, and the buildings were destroyed just by passing over the ground. The ground was broken into deep ravines, and the members of the guild were blown to flee everywhere, and their bodies were carried by the gust of wind. Really or not, it has such a large attack power just by passing through the air. Is that the only way? There is no hope? Is this the black dragon that destroyed Sirius Island with one blow? Despair filled the hearts of all people. Countless people's eyes were full of helplessness, and they all fled at this moment. Puff, puff. At this time, Wendy, Gagil, Natsu, and Sangyong all fell to their knees and clasped their hearts. The pounding heartbeat kept resounding. It seems the time has come. Suddenly, Natsu heard a familiar voice that belonged to his adoptive father, Igunil. Natsu immediately looked around. He would never have heard it wrong. The voice was indeed his father's. I believe you can beat End. Ignil's voice echoed around again, and Natsu had tears in his eyes. Igna? How can Ignil's voice be heard? Lucy was beside them. At this time, the voice echoed again. Akira Noka, let me find a way. Suddenly, Natsu's belly glowed with infinite light. That light had a strong sense of tearing, making Natsu scream again and again. Natsu screamed. The light enveloped him and exploded instantly. The airwaves blew around and blew Lucy out. It's been making you suffer all this time, Natsu. Sing. The light soared into the sky. In front of the head, there is a dragon. It is Igna, Natsu's adoptive father. Actually, I've always been inside you, Ignil said, and Natsu below was stunned. Looking at the figure that belonged to Igna in the air, he was unable to open his mouth to ask. Now is not the time to tell you everything. I must first get rid of Acronia. Igna fluttered his wings. He rushed towards Acronia and collided with it in an instant. Fighting. The battle between dragons and dragons, fighting and collision. The airwave between the collision of the two giant dragons seemed to overturn everything. It's a dragon. One more dragon. Look. Another dragon fights with Acronia. What the hell is going on here? Is it ours? The members of the guild couldn't help but look at the two giant dragons trembling in the air. Incomparably shocked, they all raised their heads in unison, looking at the two giant dragons with mixed feelings in their hearts. At the same time, it also shocked that the battle between the dragons was so powerful. The wind blows the earth. The entire Underworld island was lifted up layer after layer of land. The aftermath of that battle is enough to smash anyone present. This is the battle of dragons. Darkness Akira Noka, Igna the Dragon King, I won't let you disrupt my Mard Geer plan. Hades Mard Geer holds books in his arms. The two dragons watching the battle also turned and left the battle area with Dino. He is also preparing other plans. The sound echoed. Plan to change. It is you, the forgotten race, who will be destroyed. People go. Dino looked at Mard Geer and still didn't go after him. He felt he could put Tartaros aside and deal with the battle between the dragons first. Look at the layers of airwaves that set off. Dino also whispered softly, Fire Dragon King, you must be strong. As long as you work hard to tear off an arm of the black dragon, then I will relay and see if you can kill the black dragon. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it depends on how strong you are. Yes, Dino wants to wait more. Let's see how the Fire Dragon King plays. As long as he works hard enough, he will cut into the battlefield at the right time and kill the black dragon. Such an opportunity is rare. The plan to kill the black dragon in advance should not be lost, and in this case, it can be appropriate to give up some of its own prey. Just let Mard Geer survive for a while longer. Dino's mood improved a lot after thinking about it. He walked in the direction of Anon, and now the battle needs to be eased temporarily. Let the two dragons fight for a while longer. Chapter 174, Try to slaughter the black dragon. Are you alright, Gageel? Lucy looked at Gageel's face very badly and asked, what exactly is going on? Hey, fire dragon, is that a gunner? What does it mean in your body all the time? Gageel stared at Natsu, who had his back turned to him. Natsu muttered to himself, how do I know that I've been looking for him? A raging flame burns beneath his feet. Field. He rushed to the sky and shouted to Ignia, who was fighting in the sky. What a joke, Ignia. Natsu, who grabbed Ignia's back, kept climbing upwards. Idiot. Didn't I say wait and explain later? Ignia scolded. Natsu is like a naive child. Just tell me now. Why did you suddenly disappear? And still inside me, where are the dragons of Gageel and Wendy? What the hell happened on July 7, 777? I'm bored. Ignia immediately distanced himself from Kalonoya. He grabbed Natsu, took a deep breath and sprayed it towards the black dragon in front of him. Boom boom boom. Rolling flames burned the earth. The flame even pierced the island of the Underworld. The giant beast that was transformed from the island of the Underworld screamed and fell towards the ground. The flames drowned the black dragon, and Natsu, who was caught, could clearly feel the heat of the flames. Okay, great. Looking at the flaming flames, Natsu also stuttered in surprise. Ignia denied, no. It didn't hurt it at all. The black dragon roared, fluttering his wings. He charged towards Ignia again. That posture is obviously about to kill it. Natsu, you are in the way. Looking at Natsu, who was caught in the palm of his hand, Ignia also sneered unceremoniously. What's in the way? Is this something to say to someone you haven't seen in a long time? Natsu retorted. Ignia responded, didn't I say that? I'll explain to you later. Go to work. Didn't you join that guild? I entrusted you. Then look below. Mard Geer, the king of the Underworld, is watching the battle in the air from a high place with a book in his hand. Look, the person standing there is holding a book in his arms. That is the Book of End. Go grab that book. Go. Ignia spoke to Natsu. The latter also looked at the book in Mard Geer's hand. As long as you complete this commission, I will tell you everything. Remember, you are not allowed to destroy that book, let alone open that book. $7. Ga. In the end, Natsu was still fooled. He rushed over there and confronted Mard Geer. Below, Makarov came to Dino's side at some point. Dino, should you fight with that red dragon to fight your opponent together and destroy the black dragon at Kalonoya? Makarov said earnestly. I'm afraid it won't work. I can't deal with a black dragon. Let Ignia fight Akuro first. Of course Dino wouldn't agree. Ignia was long overdue, and this was the way to represent Natsu's power boost. If he came out to help in the battle, he might be targeted by two dragons. Dragons are not so harmonious. Alright, even if the people in our guild suffered, they were very scared. Makarov sighed, knowing that Dino would turn into a dragon queen. He felt that there was nothing that Dino couldn't solve, and it was a bit too much to rely on. Being strong is really strong. All need good practice. Dragon-to-dragon battles don't end so easily. Whether it is the black dragon Akuro or the fire dragon king Ignia, they are not weak. Hey, beam breath. The black dragon Akuro spit out a breath towards Ignia. Ignia was very vigilant and immediately evaded. The beam hit the distant continent, and a roaring explosion sounded. The hit site in the distance was bombed and cratered. I didn't expect another dragon to live. It's really annoying. The black dragon Akuro spoke for the first time at this moment, and in the form of a dragon, he hovered in the air and looked at Ignia in front of him. Again? But you finally spoke up, Akuro. Although Ignia didn't understand why Kalonoya's words were so sloppy, he didn't have time to ask more. I regard you as an enemy and will take your life. Akuro roared angrily, waving the wings of darkness behind him to attack Ignia again. On the ground, Natsu fights with Mard Geer. But now he can't beat Mard Geer, the Pluto. Those thorns that appear and disappear, continued to cause damage to Natsu. In one sortie, Natsu was knocked out. In the next second, two shadows, one white and one black, appeared, attacking Mard Geer and smashing him into the building. It was Sting and Rogue who came. There are two dragons in the sky, and there are three sons of dragons in front of me. Maybe. No, there were others. How dare you to circle freely in my castle? Let Mard Geer recall feelings that have been forgotten. Anger. Mard Geer was angry. Thinking of the previous battle with Dino, it was very strange, and the strange power made him unable to start at all. And there are three sons of dragons in front of him. I really thought anyone could bully him. Tartaros couldn't. This shows that you are one step closer to being human. Natsu lined up with Sting and Rogue. Mard Geer put the book in his hand on an unbroken stone table. Emotions get in the way of thinking, and for a long time I thought I could hold my emotions down. After visiting the secure location with a book, Mard Geer sat on the exposed throne, crossed his legs and looked at the three sons of the dragon in front of him. Anger is a particularly bad emotion because sometimes it makes you less like yourself. So, what is it like to become a completely different individual from yourself? Just thinking about it is disgusting. 0. Leaning over, Mard Geer swept the three of them with his chin up. Continue to explain. Mard Geer is Mard Geer, known as Hades, who is in charge of Tartaros in place of the president. I have to forget this emotion, along with the existence of you guys. The power of the incantation was madly vented. In an instant, the pupils of the three people in front of them were locked. What happened? I felt a creepy force. This guy is too strong. Softer. Thorns are surging from all directions like a madman. With barbed thorns frantically attacked the three. That was extremely fast. Even when the three of them are in full state, they cannot immediately grasp the direction of Thorn's attack. The three hits were powerless to fight back. Far away, Dino, who was watching the battle between dragons and dragons in the sky, looked back. He turned his eyes to the battlefield on Natsu's side. Sure enough, Mard Geer didn't use all his strength when he was fighting with me. Mard Geer but he is called Pluto, and his strength is definitely not weak. But in the previous battle with Dino, I couldn't see any full power at all. Played fairly easily. And now Mard Geer is just beginning to take it seriously. That hand of thorns and the flowers of the underworld can be used with ease. Any attack can be easily diffused by him. It really makes my blood boil. Dino hurriedly closed his eyes, not daring to continue watching. If he continued to watch like this, he might have to rush over to duel with Mard Geer. Now is not the time. The battle between the two dragons in the sky is about to come to an end. He will transform into Jackie Chan and try to slaughter the black dragon, Akuro Nokia. 0. Chapter 175, Chasing and Killing the Black Dragon Akuro Nokia. Fighting continues on all sides. Dino is like a stargazer, observing the changes in the entire battlefield. Natsu and Gray teamed up and finally defeated Mard Geer, who was incarnated as a demon. Although the process was bitter, the result was still very good. Sting and Rogue also fought against the former president of the Sword-Bite Tiger who was turned into a new demon. The results were all good. So far, the battle is also coming to an end. Enemies are also gone. All that was left was the battle between Akronia, the black dragon in the sky, and Igna, the fire dragon king. We won. The collapsed Natsu looked up at the sky. No. Not yet. I have to destroy the end. Gray looked at the book of End on the ground and stepped forward. Right. That book. Natsu also reacted immediately, grabbing with both hands on the ground and trying to pick up the book. Sorry, I'm going to destroy it. In the end, Gray still took the first step to 790 and took the book of End in his hand, and looked at Natsu without any apology. What a joke. Igna asked me to grab it. How could Natsu be willing to let go? Who the hell is kidding? This guy started Tartaros. Besides, he's the one who came to the diabolical apex of the Book of Zeref. Shouldn't he hurry up while he can destroy it? Gray followed his father's orders. Holding the book of End in his hand, he is unwilling to reconcile with Natsu. Give me that book now. No. The two stared at each other with staring eyes. Awe-inspiring. No one will let anyone else. If one wants to destroy the other, they have to grab it. At this time, the book of End in Gray's hand disappears in the palm of his hand. This book is mine. You can return it to its original owner. Sounded. Both Natsu and Gray looked over, and the person who appeared in front of them turned out to be Zeref. When needed, the two stared at each other in unison. This book is very important to me. Zeref took the book and threw it towards the place where Mard Geer fell, and Geer disappeared in an instant. It seems to have been wiped out, or perhaps resealed. Bastard. Isn't he the devil you created yourself? Gray watched this scene helplessly and suddenly became angry. Then he sealed his hand. Yes, but I don't need him anymore. Zeref pushed his hands, looked at Natsu and said, I was going to break up with you today. Unexpectedly, that guy Akuro came to make trouble. Whether it will end history again or whether there will be a miracle, I don't know. Zeref looked at the two dragons as the battle came to an end in the sky, whispered softly. Natsu wondered, huh? What are you talking about? Gray didn't know why. At this time, Zeref looked back again. If you can survive this desperate situation, then let me give you more endless despair. Turn away. Slowly disappeared from the sight of everyone. That bastard. He took the book. Gray gritted his teeth. He wanted to attack the opponent very much, but he knew that there was no hope at all. How desperate he was in the face of Zeref. He couldn't even raise his fighting spirit to resist. Rumbling. The sky exploded. The black dragon Akronia flicked its tail to knock down the fire dragon king. Bang, smashed to the ground. Destruction. Is that all your power is, Dragon King? Akuro stomped on the fire dragon king, looking down at the dragon king who couldn't get up in the end. His eyes were full of rage. After all, I slept for a long time. The Dragon King tried to resist. What it can bring is a more powerful force, which can crush the earth to shatter. Boom. Fight. Kill it. Blood spurted out. The Fire Dragon King tried his best to tear off the Black Dragon's arm. Instead, it was wiped out by a cannon from the Black Dragon. Fire Dragon King. Die. Roar. Groan. The dragon's roar resumed. Flying from a distance, a dragon with a pattern on its back rushes towards it. Another train. This dragon is the one I saw when I was on Sirius Island. Could it be that they are going to destroy this place again? The members of the Fairy Tale Guild were shocked. Looking at the dragon that appeared again, I couldn't help but feel frightened. Dino was also excited to see the black dragon who lost an arm. Ha ha ha, Black Dragon Akuro, today is your day of death. Yan Shenlong's roar. Dino comes out with a breath of fire. That hotter temperature than the Fire Dragon King scorched the earth, and everyone on the ground felt a burst of heat. The air is twisted. The whole earth was burned by this temperature. Everyone looked worriedly at the Yan Shenlong in the sky. Damn it, it's you again. Destroy it. The black dragon Akuro was injured, and he lost an arm, although his combat power was reduced to a certain extent. But despite this, he still breathed out without showing weakness. Hit with Dino's duel boom. The island of the underworld was broken, and the scarred island was almost completely broken. Airwaves swept across the city of Magnolia. The buildings, the streets, and the sea were all battered by the wind. Human beings have even suffered indiscriminate disasters. Everyone is terrified. They looked at the two giant dragons in the sky and prayed to the sky in fear. Everyone in Fairy Tale breathed a sigh of relief. Great. This new Yan Shenlong doesn't seem to be dealing with the black dragon either. Can he really kill the black dragon? It's definitely possible. The black dragon Akuro Nokia has already had one arm abolished at this moment, and the people will definitely lose without looking at this situation. From the conversation just now, they can rest assured that this Yan Shenlong is harmless to them. Even its purpose is to kill the black dragon. One by one clenched their fists hoping for a successful hunt. Dino didn't think he was too treacherous. To knows that the power of the black dragon Akuro is unquestionable. His strength is not something that ordinary people can deal with. In order to protect his own safety and determine the success rate of killing the black dragon, doing so is the safest way. Obviously, at this moment, the black dragon Akuro was not hurt too much. It can be compared to a battle with the Fire Dragon King, which has a certain consumption. In this case, Dino is very easy to be big. Stab. The sharp claws pierced into the chest of the black dragon. With a violent tear, the bowl-sized wound was torn open alive. When D.0.0 opened his mouth, he let out a roar, hitting the chest of the black dragon Akuro. The thick flames pushed the black dragon Akuro out. Fly into the distance. Ha ha ha, you must die today. Dino roared loudly, waving his wings to pursue the black dragon Akuro in the distance. From time to time, the black dragon with a breath beat will be defeated. This made Dino more optimistic about the chance to kill the black dragon today. Dilapidated Underworld Island, all the people couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Although Yan Shenlong was an allied army, the two dragons were fighting in the sky, and they couldn't relax. The next time the two dragons flew away, it was finally not so worrying. Hope you can come back well. President Makarov looked at the two dragon shadows in the distance and prayed sincerely. Look back and start counting casualties. Although this battle was won, there were a lot of casualties, and many guild members were injured.